Out of the third member of our broadcast crew, Mike DePasquale. Mike.
Well, guys, the game conditions are perfect, but they always say it's not the heat but the humidity that will get you here in South Florida. The Dolphins are well acclimated to that. They're wearing their white jerseys today, which have been proven to cool their body temperatures by 5 degrees. The Lions are wearing their dark jerseys, but they came in a couple of days ago to get in some practice to try to get used to this heat. It's going to be a hot one. It's already near 100 degrees here on the field.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And moisture will not be a problem today out there. It is hot, and you don't have to do much to work up a sweat, Mark.
Not in this humidity, and I live in Arizona where it's dry. There is a big difference from humidity to dry heat. You will sweat.
And as Mike mentioned, the Lions have worked all week long on trying to get acclimated to the heat that they're going to face, because in the fourth quarter, that's where visiting teams normally feel it. We told you, the Dolphins have not lost a home game in September since 1993. Albert Johnson is back deep for the Dolphins, who won the toss and are set to receive. Jason Hanson set to kick it off for Detroit. Jason Hanson puts his foot into it, and the 2002 regular season is underway. Johnson bobbles it in his end zone, and he'll take a knee right there, and Miami will take over on their own 20. And out comes the Dolphins offense. Jay Fiedler is the quarterback. It is 7th year out of Dartmouth. There you see his numbers from last year, 20 touchdowns and 19 interceptions. Up front for Jay Fiedler today, offensive line. Dixon, Nails, Ruddy, Perry, and Wade, the skill positions. Backs and receivers, Ricky Williams. And we're going to talk a lot about him today. Oronde Gadsden and Chris Chambers, 2 excellent receivers as well. First down and 10 for the Dolphins. It's Chambers in motion. Gives to Ricky Williams. Tries the middle of the field. Not much there. Met by Robert Porcher at the line of scrimmage. Falls ahead for 4. Let's take a look at the Lions defense now. Starting up front. And this is one of the stronger units in the National Football League. Robert Porcher, of course, up there. Along with Luther Ellis, Sean Rogers, and James Hall, who has come a long way in his 3rd year out of Michigan. Linebackers for the Lions, Green, Claiborne, and Williams. And in the secondary, Light, Davis, Harris, and Walker. Second down and 6. Fiedler to throw. Looks, throws out there. Knocked away, incomplete, almost picked off by the Lions. That football was loose there for a moment, and we almost had a very big play early in this game.
And the Lions are looking for big plays, Dan. They know that they have to get some turnovers to have a chance to win this game.
Take another look. Oronde Gadsden just drilled by Barrett Green, and Todd Light had a chance there for the interception. Check that. Brian Walker with a chance, but an incomplete pass, and that brings up 3rd down 6 now. Dolphins with 3 receivers in the game. That's Dedrick Ward in the slot. Fiedler stops, throws, got it complete out there to Gadsden. First down Miami, and a pickup of 11.
This is where they feel they got the matchups here. The Dolphins do, Dan, against these cornerbacks for the Detroit Lions. They come with good experience, but yet they're not as swift and fast as they used to be. And the Dolphins have these big, strong receivers, especially Oronde Gadsden. They like the individual matchups right there.
Gadsden last year, 55 catches for 675 yards. Expecting bigger things this year from both he and Chris Chambers. They're the receivers in the game right now. Ricky Williams is the deep back behind Fiedler. He gets the call. Williams cuts it to the left. Finds a little daylight, not much. Crossed the line of scrimmage, gain of 3. Robert Porcher took him down for Detroit.
I think the one acquisition we didn't mention about that the Dolphins made this offseason that they're very high about is to bringing on Norv Turner as their offensive coordinator.
Norv Turner in his 18th year in the National Football League, first with the Dolphins. Of course, last year with San Diego, 7 years as head coach in Washington, and he is excited about using that young man, Ricky Williams. Second down and 7 now for the Dolphins. 2 receivers to the right side. Fiedler to throw, looks, throws it out there, got it complete. Spinning out of a tackle is Gadsden out near the 45-yard line, and again good enough for a first down. Todd Light with the tackle, but not before the Dolphins pick up 8 and move the chains.
And that's what Norv Turner's offense is all about, going forward. When you practice playing against Norv Turner's offense, it's like his offense is on top of the hill, and they're coming down. He wants everything going vertical, straight down the field, pushing the defense back, and you can see they're just running stops, running Ricky up the gut. just working the running game, play action, just getting a little pop, just feeling out what the Lions are doing to him.
Dedrick Ward is checked back in from Miami. 3 receivers in the game. Gives to Williams, trying the right side, looking for the edge, and he's got it across midfield, down to the 47, taken out of bounds by Corey Harris. Gain of 7. It'll bring up 2nd down and 3.
This is why they brought him in here, Dan. They want this power running game. You can see, even though he's about 225, 230 right now, he's down 20 pounds from last year, he still has the speed to bounce it outside. He's like blocking. Everybody's getting a body on body, white jersey on blue jerseys. That's all you need. You don't need outstanding blocks in the NFL. You just need a body on body, and a running back has the speed, the agility to get by people.
Ricky Williams in his 4th year, and Ricky Williams also in possession of a new contract, which he worked out yesterday with the Dolphins. And Jay Fiedler did not like something he saw as he walked up to the line of scrimmage, so he takes a timeout. We're scoreless in Miami. Back with more after this. Back in Miami, Dan Miller along with Mark Carrier. Dolphins first possession of the ball game, and they're moving. Facing a 2nd down here. A moment ago, Luther Ellis helped off the field. Kelvin Pritchett is checked in for him. We'll report on Luther in just a moment. 2nd down now for the Dolphins. 3 to go. To give it to Ricky Williams. Tries the middle of the field. Hops doesn't find much there. Goes down. He'll be about a yard shy. Chris Claiborne in to make the tackle for Detroit.
If Luther Ellis is hurt and can't come back into the game, then that is a huge blow to this Detroit defensive line. This is their strength. He played hurt last year with a bad elbow. When we talked to him at the hotel, he was excited about this year because he finally felt healthy again.
Luther Ellis in his 8th year out of Utah, former #1 pick back in 1995. 3rd down and 1 for Detroit. Ricky Williams, the deep back. Deion Dyer in front of him. Short yardage. The give is to Williams. Tries to pull his way forward. He's going to be very, very close. Met in the backfield by Brian Walker. We'll have to see where they spot the ball.
Well, that is going to be really tight. If he got it, it doesn't look like he got it from up here. Luckily, Ricky Williams has that face mask.
In fact, he did not. 4th down it is, and the Dolphins will have to punt it away. Mark Royals will come on.
When you play against a North Turner style offense, penetration is huge because these guys are going to try to go forward. They don't do a lot of stunning and movement. They want to just get you moving and let the back just hit it downhill. So that's why if you get penetration in the backfield, you will do a good job against this offense. You will stuff the running back as they did there.
Back deep for the Lions, Desmond Howard, still dangerous after all these years, the former Heisman Trophy winner. They'll let that one bounce in the end zone, and the Lions will take over at their own 20. 1st and 10. We're scoreless and coming right back for more after this. Miami Lions with their first possession of the game. Mike McMahon is the quarterback. 2nd year out of Rutgers. 4th start overall in the National Football League. Empty backfield. McMahon looks, throws out there. Incomplete, looking for Oz Hakeem. He'll bring up 2nd down. Coverage by Patrick Surtain. We talked about Mike McMahon. Bit of a quarterback controversy in Washington after they drafted Joey Harrington with the #3 pick this past year. But Harrington is the man. Lions going with a hurry-up offense here. They did that in their first preseason game. They'll try it again tonight. McMahon back, looking for Ricks down the middle of the field. Incomplete, overthrows him. And that'll bring up 3rd down. All right, checking the rest of the Lions offense. Up front for Mike McMahon, protecting him today. Left tackle, very important position. Jeff Backus, 2nd year out of Michigan, along with the backs and receivers, Lamont Warren, Corey Schlesinger, Schrader, Hakeem, and Ricks the tight end. 3rd down, 10 now for Detroit. Flag down. Looked like somebody jumped on the line. The play is dead. And in fact, Detroit will be going in the wrong direction after this one.
Still 3rd down.
So the Lions come out with a couple of incomplete passes and a penalty. And they'll now be facing 3rd and 15. Three receivers in the game for Detroit. Scotty Anderson checks in for the first time. He's to the far side of the field. Oz Hakeem to the near side. Bill Schrader in the slot. McMahon to throw on 3rd down. Looks for Ricks. Got him at the 40. Ricks still going across the 50. Down inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. Arturo Freeman finally making the stop for Miami. A gain of 49 for Detroit.
Dan, we talked to Marty Morningwig. He said he felt he can get a great matchup with Ricks on the linebacker. And you saw there that he made it happen. But Ricks got behind the linebacker, and McMahon hit him right on stride.
McMahon getting the job done and hustling to the line once again here. Lamont Warren comes to line up behind him. The give of the delay is to Warren. Tries to break it outside. Nothing there. Goes down at the 35. Gain of 1. Tim Bowens, 9th year out of Mississippi, makes the stop for Miami.
You see Ricks right here, Dan, just going right up the field. Gives a hit move to Zach. Gets behind him. Perfect pass by McMahon. If you can get behind the linebackers in between the secondary and throw the ball right there, you're going to be open all the time.
Ricks made some big plays during the preseason. Catches at 30 and 64 yards for touchdowns. The Lions like what he's brought to their offense. McMahon slips on the field. Flag goes down, and so does he back at the 40. It's going to be a loss of 5, but we'll wait and see what happened with the flag. Looks like it's going to be holding against the Lions. Larry Chester was the player that ultimately got in there and took McMahon down.
Holding 65 offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
And that'll bring up 3rd and 14. Let's quickly check the Miami defense up front. And it is an impressive unit. Wale Ogunlea had 8 sacks during the preseason to set a team record. Linebacker Zach Thomas led the team in tackles last year. In the secondary, 2 great corners, Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain. Lions now facing a 3rd down and 14 for the Miami 40-yard line. 3 receivers for Detroit. McMahon again has trouble with his footing, has to run. He can do that. Throws, looking into the end zone. Back there, Schrader got a hand on it, incomplete. The Lions had 2 receivers in the area, both Lamont Warren and Bill Schrader. Flag down, meanwhile, all the way back at the line of scrimmage. I
think they're going to get Jason. Jason Taylor was getting mugged, and he didn't like it, and he expressed his opinion in the wrong way. I think it's going to be a personal foul penalty here.
Well, that would be a big play for the Lions if it were a personal foul. Because as it stands now, they'd be facing a 4th and 14.
I was wrong. They saw the illegal chop block, so Jason was justifiable for.
Yes. Chop block. 62 offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Penalty called on Tony Semple. Mark, one of the rare times they actually do catch the first guy.
You can see right there, you can't do that in this league. That's just uncalled for. You can get somebody seriously hurt.
Well, Miami declines the penalty. John Jett in to punt it away for Detroit. Albert Johnson back deep for the Dolphins. He's going to let this one bounce. It does at about the 5. Jimmy Wyrick was back there, but it bounces over his head. There's a flag on the far side of the field. The punt resulted in a touchback. Miami set to take over at their own 20, but once again, we'll let the officials sort this one out.
Holding receiving team number 27 during the kick. The ball will be placed at the 10-yard line. The penalty being enforced from the 20. Be 1st and 10 Miami.
So that's where Miami will take over at their own 10-yard line. Their 2nd possession of the game coming up. You see right there the penalty. Miami backed up just a bit. They'll have the football when we come back. We're scoreless in the 1st. Miami, Dan Miller along with Mark Carrier, scoreless in the 1st. Luther Ellis trying to loosen up on the sidelines. He was helped off the field during the Dolphins' first possession with what's been diagnosed as a right quad bruise. His return is listed as probable. 1st down, Dolphins get a couple from Ricky Williams. Right now, let's see what else is happening around the league and check in with James Brown for an update. JB.
Hey, Dan and Mark, take a look. Eddie George, of course, coming off of a subpar year. Little pass coming here from Steve McNair. 14-yard pass play. High steps it into the end zone. Levon Kirkland, no match for Eddie George. Tennessee on top, 7-0 over the Eagles. Back to Dan Miller and Mark Carrier.
All right, JB, thanks. Great first-week matchup there between Tennessee and Philadelphia. Mark, a lot of people expecting a big bounce-back year from the Titans.
Yeah, no one's really talking about if the Super Bowl contender for the Titans, but they should have a good year if Eddie George is healthy.
2nd down, 7 now for the Dolphins. Feet in the throw, gets it out there, and it's complete. is rookie Randy McMichael making the catch. First year out of Georgia. Gain on the play of 9 yards.
They're really high on this young man, Dan. We talked to Coach Wanstead, and we asked him what, and I played for Wanstead for 3 years, and he wasn't high on any rookies ever. We asked him, what made you so excitable about this young man? And he plainly said, he's got great maturity for a young player.
Always interesting to see how the things from preseason translate into the regular season, Mark, though it becomes a different game.
It's all for real now.
Randy McMichael passed his first test right there. Dolphins pick up a first down on the play. 1st and 10 from the 24. Once again, Williams, the deep back. Play action fake. Looking out there. Watch Chambers at the 50. Incomplete, flags everywhere. A lot of contact. Chambers didn't come up with a football, but it looked like Eric Davis came up with a lot of Chris Chambers.
There's a lot of fighting and grabbing going on. The odds are they're going to do it right there, right on Eric Davis. The question is, it usually goes against a defensive player, but you can see they're both grabbing each other.
And in fact, it will be against Eric Davis.
Eric Davis, a 13-year veteran. Doesn't have the same speed as he used to. He used to cover Jerry Rice, so he was a former Pro Bowl player, but they say this Chris Chambers, he's a budding superstar right now, Dan.
Pass interference on Eric Davis. Ball's placed at the point of the foul. Miami now has it in Detroit territory at the 48. First down and 10. 2 tight ends in the game for the Dolphins. Ricky Williams, the lone setback behind Fiedler. Play action fake, flag down, looking deep. Watch Chambers again, and Fiedler overthrows him. Chambers was all by himself, but they couldn't get it to him.
They had the right play call for the right coverage. He sold that deep out very quickly to the safety, and he was wide open. Jay Fiedler just missed him.
Offside. Defense number 96. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
You can see he sold Corey Harris on that big hint move right there deep down the field. He was wide open. Jay Fiedler, hey, when you have that guy wide open, you've got to hit him. These are the big plays that they're with the North Carolina offense will bring to this Dolphins team, especially with the running game.
Jay Fiedler doing the right thing, knowing he had a free play, taking a shot deep. He's now got 1st and 5 from the 43. Again, play action. Fiedler's going to keep it and run, and he can do that very well. Slides down near the first down. Will be about a yard shy. Kelvin Pritchett and Chris Claiborne coming in to take him down. Fiedler last year had a terrific season, running for 321 yards. That's a team record. So you know when he's in trouble, Mark, he can get out of there.
He has no problem about running. I was very surprised when we saw him at practice how quick he was, especially for a Dartmouth quarterback. I didn't think anybody ran in the Ivy League. So to see him move, I was very impressed with his movement.
Some quarterbacks may have to run for their life in the Ivy League if you don't have the right protection. 2nd down now, 1 for Fiedler and the Dolphins. Chambers in motion. Gives to Williams. Williams picks his way through, gets the first down, stopped at about the 37. It's going to be a gain of 2.
Dan, that was just a simple 2-yard play, but I promise you, come to 4th quarter, that little run for 2 yards will turn into 5, 6, and 7 because the defense will get physically tired, and you'll see Ricky Williams pick up more yards in the 4th quarter than he will in the 1st quarter.
We still have 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the 1st quarter. You see Ricky Williams' numbers so far, 7 carries for 21 yards. I would assume he's going to get a heavy dose of 20 carry days, if not more. The Dolphins love what he brings in terms of a power game, as you said, what he might be able to provide in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10. Again, it's Williams' 8th carry of the game. This time he's bottled up. Gets maybe 2, gets to the 35. Sean Rogers, 2nd year out of Texas, making the stop for Detroit.
The one thing that was impressed me about Williams that I didn't know about, Ricky Williams that I didn't know about, Dan, is that he had 60 catches last year. And you don't think of that of a power back having that many catches, and the question is he had small hands coming out of college that he wouldn't be able to catch the ball. 60 catches for a guy like his stature is a very good stat.
Another thing about Ricky Williams is you look at he gets stronger during the game. Last season in New Orleans, you see his carries 1 through 10, 11 through 20, then past 21, he had his best numbers. So Ricky Williams gets stronger as the game goes on. Many times that's not the case with the opposing defenses. 2nd down, 8 now. Fiedler the throws. Got Ron Conrad in the flat. Conrad across the 30, across the 25. Still going. finally taken down at the 15. A gain of 19 and a first down on the play. Rob Conrad running hard, finally taken down by Corey Harris.
You see Rob Conrad coming right now. Dan, this play was set up for the last two plays. You had two big power runs by Ricky and Conrad leading on the block. Well, this time he faked like he was blocking, go out in the flats. He's wide open. This is what the North Carolina offense does to you.
Eric Davis with a missed tackle there. And those will add up. You don't want to let a guy like Conrad get ahead of steam going. The Dolphins now on the move. First down and 10 from the Lions 16. Two tight ends for Miami. Ricky Williams, the lone setback. Fiedler throws, looking out there for Chambers. Got him. Diving catch made it to 9. Rolls out of bounds there. It'll bring up second down. Pickup of 8.
Yeah, they're really excited about this kid. He had a good rookie year, his first year. Now he's coming into this offense, and they're expecting, he had a great preseason camp. They're expecting him to put up some big numbers this year. They're thinking 1,000 receiver, at least 60 to 70 catches this year. 1,000 yards, at least 67 catches this year, Dan.
Chambers comes out of the game here. See his rookie year numbers. Top rookie of the National Football League in terms of receivers last year. James McKnight has checked in for him. Randy McMichael in motion, and Jay Fiedler is going to call timeout. The play clock was down to 2 seconds there. He'll come over the sidelines and talk it over. We're still scoreless in Miami, but the Dolphins are knocking on the door. Back in Miami, we're scoreless, but that may change momentarily. The Dolphins on the move here. Second down and 3 from the Detroit 9. Fiedler fakes the give to Williams, throws it to Conrad in the flat to the 5, dives for the end zone. Did he get in? No. It'll be first and goal from inside the 1 for Miami.
Again, you see Conrad coming again. This play is all set up by that lead power run by Ricky Williams. And here Conrad fakes like he's blocking, leaps out. The object is that Fiedler has to get him the ball quick. You can't wait to it because it gives him a chance to get up to turn his shoulder, get the field.
Nice job by Bracy Walker.
At the sideline where the fumble occurred, it'll be at that spot, first and goal.
Ball was fumbled out of bounds. Miami will take over right where that occurred.
76 reports eligible. 76.
Great job by Bracy Walker a moment ago to keep Conrad out of the end zone.
That is, you never know, Dan. That play, you never know what's going to happen here. They can make a stop, get a cause to fumble on it because of that big play by Bracy Walker stopping him before he gets in.
Here we go. Fiedler with Williams behind him. The give is to Ricky. Tries to go up and over and into the end zone, and he does. Ricky Williams with his first touchdown as the Dolphin in Miami takes the lead. Well, that's why they went out to get the former Heisman Trophy winner.
There's nothing very simple about this play, Dan. Right in your face, Ricky up the gut.
Lindo Mare comes in to attempt the extra point. It is up, and it is good, and the Dolphins have taken a 7-0 lead over the Lions with 3:07 to go in the first quarter. Take another look. Ricky Williams getting it done right there for the Dolphins. Back in Miami, Dave Wanstedt and the Dolphins have taken a 7-0 lead. Mark, let's take another look.
This is Ricky right into your living room, straight up. Power football, Dan, that's all it is.
Ricky Williams so far, 9 carries, 24 yards, and that touchdown to give the Dolphins a 7-0 lead. Desmond Howard back deep for the Lions as they get set to get it back. Lindo Mare puts his foot into it. Short kick. Howard will come all the way up to the 13-yard line and take it there. Howard to the 20, cuts back, 25 with some room. Howard finally chased out of bounds by Mare at the 33, a 19-yard return. The Lions will have decent field position here.
He's still one of the best, Dan. He might have had a few injuries over the last 2 years, but he's one guy you always got to watch.
Marty Mornhinweg, his second year as the Lions head coach, 2-14 last year, but no shortage of confidence this year. He feels like he's got a better football team.
Yeah, he did go out and make a whole lot of wholesale changes with a lot of players. He wanted to bring more big play players in here.
There you see the scoring drive. 9 plays, 90 yards. 5 minutes and 21 seconds. First down, Lions have it back. Lamont Warren gets the call. Not much there. Wrapped up by a bunch of tacklers. Gains 1. It'll bring up 2nd down and long for Detroit.
Then the Detroit Lions started off their first offensive series with no back spread offense. You just wonder if they did that to get McMahon's confidence, or did James Stewart not being in the game have something to do with say, hey, well, that goes to our power running game. Now we got to try something different, go to plan B, spread them out and see if we can dink and dunk them and get them thinking about it.
Lions also went with a no-huddle offense the first time they had the ball. This time they do huddle up. 2nd down 9 from their own 35. McMahon to throw. Pocket holds, looks out there, has Ricks across the 40. Ricks taken down at the 43 by Brock Marion. Let's see what's happening around the rest of the league right now. Again, we go to L.A. and check in with James Brown. JP.
Hey, Dan, what's happening? Tennessee turned the ball over. Philadelphia capitalizes. Donovan McNabb drills a bullet to ex-Redskins player James Thrash. That knocks it up in Tennessee at 7. Back to Dan Miller and Mark Terry.
All right, JB, thank you very much. So McNabb to Thrash, and that game now tied up at 7 apiece right here. We have Miami leading Detroit 7-0. 3rd down and 1. One back behind McMahon. That's Corey Schlesinger. McMahon to throw. Looked out there for Azakim. Didn't have him in the flat. Now he's in trouble. Down he goes. Does get the football away, but they're going to say he was taken down back around the 36-yard line. Jason Taylor and Jermaine Haley both giving chase, and they got to McMahon.
Wow, you know what? You've got to feel that without James Stewart, they're going to run. They're going to try to pass, and I think they're going into the Dolphins' strength. Morningwood said, "Hey, we're not going to really try to attack their strength. We're trying to go at them, moving around." But with no tailback in the backfield, they had to feel that they were going to pass the ball there.
So the Lions will once again have to punt. John Jett is on. Back deep, Albert Johnson. Interesting story. Johnson, the CFL Rookie of the Year and Special Teams Player of the Year back in 2000. He won this job during training camp. They think he can bring them big plays. We'll see what he does here. Johnson back to the 20, spins out at the 23, still going, loses the football, down on the ground and loose. And the Lions have it. So Albert Johnson, who I just got done saying won the job in training camp, did not do anything to improve his chances right there, coughing it up on his first return.
Oh, I think it's change of reversal here, Dan.
Well, the initial sign was that it was going to Detroit. We'll take another look.
Boy.
Ball was loose, bounced right to Bradford Banta.
The thing about those piles, Dan, is you don't know how many times that ball, what guys would do in that pile to get that ball out of their hands. Everything's fair game in that pile, whatever you have to do to get that ball. That's a lucky break for the Dolphins.
Game 1 for the officials as well. One of them certainly signified that Detroit had the ball. Now Miami's got it, leading 7-0. Arturo Freeman recovered the fumble for the Dolphins. Now they've got it 1st and 10 from their own 32. Williams going outside, cutting it back, across the 40, out to the 43-yard line. Brian Walker and Corey Harris make the stop, but Williams picks up 10.
That was a nice run. He had Todd Perry out there pulling with him, falling right behind him. He's just going to say, hey, I'm just going to follow my big butt guy, and wherever he goes, I'm taking. You see Todd Perry right there, throws a block. Ricky sets it up, cuts back in there, and I can tell you what, as a former safety, seeing a 230-pound running back coming at you, Dan, you just get down and tuck those legs, tuck your head, and knock those legs out.
Dave Wanstead certainly made a point of the fact that Ricky Williams does weigh 230. At times last year in New Orleans, he was up to 252. 1st down and 10 for the Dolphins. Ticking down towards the end of the first quarter. Fiedler throws, almost picked off. The ball is knocked down by Barrett Green, who got a couple of hands on it.
Woo, boy, there was 2 guys in that vicinity who could have made that play. Barrett Green as well as Chris Claiborne.
Take another look. Green reaching back and trying to grab that.
I don't know. They must have had something, because both middle linebacker as well as Barrett Green, the weak side linebacker, both were running right to where the ball was going, so they both had that snipped out. I don't know if they're going to try to change up on something. They had read something off of Fiedler that told them where to go.
2nd down, 10 now for the Dolphins. Gives to Ricky Williams again, trying the right side. Gets outside, moves across near midfield, driven out at the Lions 49. Brian Walker takes him down, but it's a gain of 8. And that'll bring up 3rd and short for Miami.
You know, you think of Ricky Williams as more of an in-between tackles running back, and he really is, Dan. He has that type of strength, but he also has the ability as well.
That is the end of the first quarter.
And that play will indeed bring us to the end of the first quarter. Miami leading Detroit by a score of 7-0. We'll be right back with more after this. The start of the second quarter here in Miami. Dolphins leading by a score of 7-0. Ricky Williams with a 1-yard touchdown run. Right now Miami has it at midfield, facing 3rd and 2. Robert Edwards is checked into the game for the Dolphins at running back for the first time, and that is a great story that we'll talk more about in just a moment. Fiedler to pass, looking on the slant. At McKnight out there, knocked away and incomplete. Eric Davis, nice coverage for Detroit, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Real nice play by Eric Davis. Like I said, Eric Davis has been in this league for a long time. He's a smart corner. He's not as quick as he used to be, but he knows how to play the game. He understands the game very well. He knows his strength.
We will get back to Robert Edwards in just a couple of minutes. Former Patriot, playing in the National Football League for the first time after missing 3 seasons with a severe knee injury. Dolphins to punt it away. Royals puts his foot into it. Desmond Howard giving chase. He's going to let it bounce. If that bounced off the line, that's going to be a touchdown for the Dolphins. And indeed it is. Trent Gamble coming up with a touchdown after a special teams mistake for Detroit. If it stands. And indeed it looks like it will. We'll take another look and you'll see the punt just bounced right off of a line in coverage into the end zone where Gamble picked it up for about the easiest touchdown you can score in the National Football League.
There's Cash right there.
Receiver on, pounded into the end zone and recovered by Miami. It is a touchdown.
All right, and you like Cash's effort because he's working hard, but he's got to understand inside the 20-yard line, the returner, Desmond Howard, has to run over to Cash, and Cash has to be aware on the field where he's at, because at the 20-yard line, you are taught to run out of the way, get out of bounds, get out of the way, but do what you have to do, but don't keep blocking into the 20-yard line for that reason right there.
Chris Cash, a rookie out of USC.
Oh.
Olindo Mare on to attempt the extra point. It is up and good, and just like that, the Lions find themselves down 14-0 here in Miami. Olindo Mare to kick it off to Desmond Howard. Howard will chase this one all the way back into his end zone, and it bounces out of the end zone. So the Lions will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20, trailing 14-0. Trent Gamble right there scored the touchdown moments ago. Lions head coach Marty Mornhinweg has to be in a bit of shock after that. The Lions come up with a big stop on 3rd down. And the officials are sorting out a penalty on the field down there.
Offside on receiving team. Receiver at number 86 beyond the restraining line prior to the kick. The penalty is declined. 1st and 10, Detroit.
Penalty called on Michael Ricks, and I got to tell you something, Mark. That is a penalty you rarely ever see. Is a penalty called on the receiving team.
Yeah, there's been 2 mistakes already made and granted they're young players, but then, hey, these plays are not something new. This has not been invented once they got to the NFL. You don't block inside the 20-yard line on a punt, and you never run forward past the 45-yard line to go get a ball. You just don't do that.
All right, the Lions with it now. 1st and 10 from their own 20. The pitch is to Avion Kason. Kason gets back to the line of scrimmage. Not much more than that. Want to remind you, coming up next, the second part of our doubleheader. Marshall Faulk will lead the potent Rams offense against Brian Greasy and the Broncos, or other regional action as well. It's a full day of NFL action that will continue next on Fox. Three receivers into the game for Detroit. Scotty Anderson has checked in. Second down and 10 for Mike McMahon and the Lions. Early in the second quarter. 5 defensive backs on for Miami. McMahon setting up the screen. Kason lost his footing as he tried to get set up, and it's incomplete.
Oh, they had it set up nice, Dan. They had a man-to-man on the opposite side with the top 3 receivers. If Kason would have kept his feet, he only had one. He had 3 blockers and 1 Miami Dolphins defender to stop him. He would have been running for about 30 yards before someone would have got to him.
That'll bring up third down and 10 now. Lamont Warren is checked back in for Detroit. Jason Taylor and the Dolphins defense will be coming hard here. Obvious passing down.
This is what the Dolphins wanted, 3rd and long. Get him, keep him 3rd and long, go after the quarterback.
McMahon from the shotgun. Back with time, throws, incomplete. Looking out there for Hakeem, and that'll bring up 4th down. And before we get the punt, let's swing it back to LA and James Brown.
Dan and Mark, Michael Vick dazzling with his run, with his feet. Take a look. He had 34 yards rushing on this scoring drive. 2 right there, and then they add a Warren Dunn 4-yard run, and it's 14-3 Green Bay. Green Bay's only lost last year to Atlanta there. Back to Dan and Mark.
All right, JB, thank you very much. Michael Vick is the man and getting it done for the Falcons right there. John Jett the man right now for the Lions with a punt. Albert Johnson backs up all the way to his 26. Johnson, who fumbled in his last return, going to run out of bounds at the 35 here. 53-yard punt, 4-yard return, but the Dolphins have the football and a 14-0 lead. We'll be right back. Along with Mark Carrier, Dolphins leading the Lions by a score of 14-0, 13:42 to go second quarter. Dolphins have it 1st and 10 at their own 36. Ricky Williams and Rob Conrad behind Jay Fiedler. Play action fake to Williams, throw out over the middle, looking for McMichael, and he brings it in with one hand. A great catch in Lions territory, down around the 42-yard line, a gain of 21.
Oh, that was a nice catch by this young receiver, McMichael. You know, yesterday and the other day in practice, Dan, he couldn't catch a cold, and now you see him come out. They set up the Conrad out in the flats, and they hit McMichael right there with one-hand catch. Great athletic ability by this tight end.
And that will bring about some big-time confidence from that rookie.
Look at that one hand. Oh, didn't know if he was going to get hit or not. Stretched out, had body control to haul it in and keep the ball from hitting the ground.
Already leading 14-0. The Dolphins in business again. They're at the Lions 42, 1st down and 10. Williams, the deep back, he gets the call, tries the right side, and he's got some room. Williams inside the 35, down to the 31. Brian Williams makes the stop from his outside linebacker position for Detroit. Now, for more, let's go down to the field. And the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, Mike DePasquale.
Well, Dan, the Dolphins like it nice and toasty on the field to wear down their opponents. Look at the thermometer gauge, or the temperature gauge. It's over almost 110 degrees. The Lions do have fans on the sideline that are dispersing water, so hopefully it'll cool them down a little bit. But right now, the Dolphins are in control.
And that becomes huge, Mike, when you saw the time of possession right there. The Lions defense has been on the field quite a while already this afternoon. Trying to get something done here. 1st and 10 Miami. Again, Fiedler with a pump fake. Now he's going to have to run out of the pocket, throwing into the end zone. Chambers is out there, but incomplete. I think Fiedler threw that away more than anything else.
He did. He was looking for his 2 receivers on the outside down the field. They tried to go for the home run, meaning the touchdown. And if he would have looked up at the last second, he saw Chambers was breaking away from Todd Light, going wide open. But by that time, the pressure got to him, so he did the smart thing and got rid of the ball.
Barrett Green of the Lions doing a nice job putting the pressure on Fiedler. You see him coming after him right there.
Great explosion and close by Barrett Green. Man, he closed the gap on that real fast.
Barrett Green, 3rd year out of West Virginia. Dolphins now facing a 2nd and 10. They bring in 3 receivers. The rookie tight end, McMichael, in motion, but it's Ricky Williams who gets the call. He's got room. Williams inside the 30, past the 25, down to the 24, stopped there by Chris Cash. Pickup of 7 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and about 3.
We've seen Ricky outside there. Now we're seeing Ricky inside. Look at that hole. Here's the first guy to come. Again, it was Corey Harris. These safeties for the Detroit Lions are making a lot of tackles early in this game, Dan, and that will make a big difference in the fourth quarter. These guys will be dog tired.
Ricky Williams checks out. Robert Edwards right there, number 47, checks in on 3rd and 3. Dedrick Ward is in motion. Wheeler to throw. Out in the flat. Has Edwards, and Edwards has the first down across the 20 to about the 19. Let's talk about this young man for just a minute. Had a terrific rookie season with New England after being a #1 pick in '98. Then dislocated his knee during a flag football game in Hawaii during the Pro Bowl festivities. They didn't know if he would be able to keep his foot. They had to restore the blood flow. They were able to do that. At that point, they didn't know if he'd ever be able to walk again without a cane. Clearly he has. Nobody thought he'd play football again, but there Robert Edwards is, and one of the great stories in the NFL this year.
That is really a good story.
Ricky Williams checks back in, and he gets the call. Tries the left side. Not much there. Down to the 16, gain of 3.
I wanted you to notice something, Dan. You see Ricky Williams, even though that play only hit for about 3 or 4 yards, he's going forward. He's falling forward. You're only seeing one guy now on the Detroit Lions holding him up. You can tell they're very tired. They've been on the field quite a bit. It's very warm down on the field. These guys, their hands, all the Lions' hands are on their hips. From being a former player, that's a telltale sign when you are very tired.
Saw it a couple of minutes ago, about 105 down on the field, throwing a heavy dose of humidity. Got some jump going out there for these football players. Throws, got his man, touchdown, number 81, Randy McMichael, the rookie out of Georgia. Randy McMichael with 3 catches for 49 yards. That one good for 16 and a touchdown. So the Dolphins take a 20-0 lead. Olindo Mare in to attempt the extra point. Spot down and the kick is up and it is good. And the Dolphins move down the field and take a 21-0 lead over the Lions here in South Florida. Detroit will get it back when we come back. Back in Miami, there are a lot of happy fans, but perhaps none happier than that young lady right there. Randy McMichael's mother, who has the foot foul from Randy McMichael's first touchdown in the National Football League. Everything seemed to go wrong as Olindo Mare went to kick off there. They'll try that one again.
Yeah, first touchdown of his young rookie career, and he gives it to his mom.
Randy McMichael doing a terrific job so far at tight end for the Dolphins. Came into camp, beat out Jed Weaver. I think we've gotten a good indication why so far this afternoon. They'll try it again. Olindo Mare to put his foot into it. Desmond Howard back deep for the Lions. Mare sent it about 8 yards deep, and that's where they'll stay. It'll be first down and 10. Take another look at the touchdown pass from Jay Fiedler to McMichael.
I say you see McMichael, but the guys you need to look at are these guys over here and watch their heads, Dan. Look where they're looking at. This play was set up from the run from Ricky earlier. Look at everybody's looking back inside. There's McMichael running across, wide open, no one there. There's what you call the Ricky Williams effect right there that they talk about.
Randy McMichael, first touchdown, as we said, of his NFL career. Lions have it back, and they need to get something going, trailing 21-0. Here in Miami.
They need some type of drive. They don't need to score, Dan, but they've got to move the ball. Someone's got to make a play here.
Going with 3 wide receivers right here. Mike McMahon to pass on first down. Looks to his right, throws, has Azakim at about the 25. Got to the 26 and driven out of bounds by Patrick Surtain, a gain of 6. It'll bring up 2nd down and 4.
Coach Morningwig's just got to try to find something to get this team, keep his confidence up, just get them moving.
You could hear that right there. Patrick Surtain really putting the hit on Azakim.
Sound like me, Dan, back in my day.
Back in the day. Yes, when Mark Carrier was roaming the defensive backfield. Avion Kason checks in for Detroit. Across the 30. Looks like he's got enough for the first down for Detroit. Moreland Greenwood making his first stop of the day for Miami.
Yeah, the Lions, you know, they needed a first down here. They need maybe 2 or 3. 3 more first downs. They need to keep their defense off the field. They're very tired. The Dolphins are having their way with them right now. Everything that Norv Turner calls, it works. They need to drive here.
Lions first down and 10 now from their own 31. Corey Schlesinger, the lone setback behind McMahon. He gets the call. Cuts it back to the right side. Gets out to maybe the 34-yard line. Schlesinger in his 8th year out of Nebraska. Terrific pass receiver and also known as a very, very strong blocker. And we found that out from Zach Thomas.
Was that funny or what? When we went to talk to Zach Thomas the other day, we said, Zach, so what are your worries about this offense? What are you going to be looking out for? And the first thing that came out of his mouth was Corey Schlesinger. How funny was that? Corey Schlesinger might not be known across in the public eye, but every middle linebacker knows who Corey Schlesinger is.
Second down and 6 after Schlesinger picked up 4. The pass complete to Avion Kayson across midfield, down to the 47. Another first down for Detroit. Tackle made by Zach Thomas after a gain of 18.
The Lions did a good job of here sneaking in Kayson up the middle, and then right up at Zach Thomas and spread the field out. You don't see any wide receivers in the pocket. They're all spread out wide, and he just goes ISO on Zach Thomas, runs to the open flat, and McMahon hit him right on stride.
So trailing 21-0, the Lions are showing some signs of life. McMahon, play action fakes, got to run out of the pocket. McMahon throwing downfield, looking for Ricks at the 5, incomplete. The Lions had a shot at a big play right there. Arturo Freeman in coverage for Miami.
That's a nice job by Arturo Freeman, because Ricks looked like he had a step on a linebacker, and he was going to be able to catch. He looked like he was going to catch this ball, and Arturo Freeman came and just broke it up right at the right time.
Well, you get an idea of what makes McMahon special right there, able to throw that football on the run and put it right where Ricks could catch it.
McMahon reminds me of, you see the movie The Replacements? Remember Keanu Reeves in that movie? When it's not there, get out there and make something happen. He kind of in a much more professional fashion, not an actor fashion. He kind of reminds me of that with his mobility.
Hopefully he won't have that bad memory from the bowl game to deal with. Flags everywhere. Looks like Jeff Backus jumped. And indeed it will be called on Jeff Backus.
This is not what the Lions did. They finally got a drive going. They're moving the ball. They're getting their defense some rest. And now they're going to start going back the other way. Coach Morningward's got to be just, he's got to keep his frustration level to a minimum. We don't
angry?
Want to have, yeah.
He's got to be angry?
He's got to keep his frustration. He doesn't look. He's fine. Look, he looks calm and cool. And you only see about 10 wrinkles in the forehead.
Usually see about 20 out there for as hot as it is here in Miami. Second down, 15 now. McMahon from the shotgun. Looks, throws, got it out there to Hakeem. Hakeem in the open field, spins out of a tackle down to the 32-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Lions. A big gain there, 21 yards.
This is exactly why they brought Hakeem in. He's one of the best receivers playing in the slot. You see him there first on the top of your screen on your right. He's one of the best receivers at getting open, finding zone. You just got to get in the ball, and he's got great speed and good talent to make things happen. He's a big play guy that they have to get somewhere, get involved in his offense.
Hakeem going to the far side of the field right now. Bill Schrader to the near side. Corey Schlesinger, the lone back behind McMahon. First down and 10 Lions. Down 21-0. McMahon looks. Wants Hakeem out there on the right side. Incomplete. Patrick Surtain back there in coverage for Miami.
I like what the Lions are trying to do. They're going after him now. They figure they've got to drive. They've got him on their heels, thinking now what we're going to do. And they're seeing if they can catch those corners who've got to be starting to get tired themselves now for Miami Dolphins. They've thrown the ball quite a bit these last 3 or 4 plays to see if they can get him sneaking. Patrick Surtain, a pretty good veteran corner, realize they say, hey, I'm a little winded. I'm not going to play bump. I'm just going to play off.
Lions continue to shuffle their backs. Avion Kayson is checked in. Second down and 10. Play action fake. McMahon looking, trying to run out of trouble. Does for the moment. Gets it out there to Kayson, who almost came up with a catch, but couldn't quite hang on. Arturo Freeman in coverage, and it looked like he might have even had a chance at the football for a moment.
Oh, man, if he would have caught the ball, he might have had a chance at a touchdown. He was wide open there. And McMahon making things happen with his legs now. We talked to him about it. We said, hey, does Coach Morningwood want you to stay in the pocket? He said, no. If you get my reads, if it's not there, then go make something happen. He's giving that total freedom.
Third down and 10 now. As this crowd in South Florida starts to make a little bit of noise. Mike McMahon and the Lions need a big play. Man to pass, throws out there looking for Ricks. Ricks has it near the 20, stretches for the first down marker, and I believe he got it with the second effort. He was carrying Arturo Freeman on his back.
That's a nice play by Michael Ricks. He's the only one that's stepping up on their offense, making plays. Him and McMahon, they found a nice little rhythm with each other.
Take another look here at the second effort, Mark.
You see, he went right up out of the flags, caught the ball. I mean, he's being covered pretty good by Arturo Freeman. That's a great job of catching the ball and then knowing where the flags and getting stretching the ball out to get a first down.
And it is indeed a first down. The Lions now at the Dolphins 20. Two receivers to the right side. McMahon with a give to the first man through. It's Schlesinger, bounces outside, gets down to the 11. Gain of about 9. It'll bring up second down and short. Very, very close to the first down marker.
Nice run by Schlesinger. Nice misdirection play. They faked the tailback one way and gave it to Corey right up the gut. And even though Corey is known as a big bruiser linebacker, he has good speed for a fullback. You can see the tailback is going to go left. Corey fakes left like they run a power play. Picks up the middle. There's a hole. And trust me, Dan, this is not a guy you want to see in the secondary running full speed.
Second down, less than 1. Good chance to take a shot here.
You go ahead and take your shot. You need to get some points here, boy. You need to get your offensive side.
Lions with 3 receivers. McMahon rolling right. Pressure comes, gets rid of it, looking for Hakeem. Incomplete. It'll bring up third down and short.
They had the matchup they wanted. They had Hakeem coming. They faked the Ray. It just made a good run play. They faked the run. Almost the same play that the Dolphins scored on. You're going to see him fake the run one play. And you can see Hakeem coming right across you. He's open. Just the ball just a little too far ahead.
Lamont Warren checks back in. Third down short. 2 tight ends in the game for the Lions. 12th play of this drive.
This is where James Stewart would have been really big in the offense right now, third and short.
James Stewart, as we told you earlier, out with an injured knee. It'll be Warren instead. Warren with a hole, down to the 5, stretches to the 2. It'll be first and goal, Detroit.
James who? James who? Nice run, right up the gut, right up power play, right up the field. Nice block by Corey. Hits Arturo Freeman and powers forward. You can see now the momentum is on the Lions side. The Dolphins defense hadn't had to play much. You can see their hands on their hips now. They're a little tired. The Lions need to come away with some points right here. Touchdown would be great. Field goal wouldn't be too disappointing either.
Scotty Anderson in the slot. It's John Owens in motion. The give is to Schlesinger. Tries the middle of that line. Not much there. Taken down. Maybe a gain of 1. Jermaine Haley, first man in for Miami.
You know what, you would think with playing on that baseball field right there, that'd be very slippery, but we haven't seen many guys really slip or lose their balance on that field. And we watched the kickers kick there earlier today, and everybody was fine, footing was fine. You would think it'd be a problem, but obviously they do a good job here to make it a football-ready condition.
Second down goal now from the 2. McMahon with an empty backfield.
Quarterback draw.
There it is. You called it. McMahon dives in. Touchdown, Lions. Nice call, Mark Carrier. Now, the question is, if you had been back there at safety, could you have stopped it?
Oh, me? Yeah. Hey, yeah, of course. Dan, you doubt my ability here. I didn't get all those fines and suspensions because I was not playing a game. Heck, I would have probably hit him. They would have suspended me and fined me. But I would have stopped him, though.
Well, that looked pretty clean from here. No worries for anybody in terms of a fine, but the Lions are on the board. Jason Hanson in to attempt the extra point after the 2-yard run by Mike McMahon. Spot down, kick is up, and it is good. So the Lions are on the board for the first time today. Miami still leads it, though, 21-7. Back Mike McMahon on the sidelines for Detroit. Moments ago, he went in for a touchdown from 2 yards out on a quarterback draw. 14-play drive for Detroit. Put them on the board for the first time today. It's 21-7 Miami. The Dolphins are set to get the football back.
They needed that bad for their defense. I don't think those guys could have gone out there more and try to stop the Dolphins. So tired.
They got some time off right there, but they're going to be back on the field momentarily. Jason Hanson, short kickoff, taken by Albert Johnson at the 10. Johnson back to the 20, hesitates. He'll go down at about the 26-yard line, and that's where the Dolphins will begin. Chris Cash and Jimmy Wyrick making the special teams tackle for Detroit.
Now we'll see the Lions have had some defense, have had some time to rest. The Dolphins have done a pretty good job of moving the ball the last 2 series. Let's see who responds to this challenge now. See if the Lions respond to the challenge now of trying to get the ball back before halftime because the Dolphins are going to try to milk the clock as much as possible, try to get some points or run the clock down as much as they can before they have to punt to give the ball back to the Lions.
Ricky Williams has been very effective today. 14 carries, 62 yards. He and Conrad both behind Jay Fiedler right here on 1st and 10 from their own 27. Conrad gets the ball. Nothing there for him. He goes down. He lost a yard. Nice penetration by the Lions there on defense. Robert Porcher, Brian Williams, both in there.
That's what we talked about. You against this type of offense that North Turner runs, where everybody's kind of firing out forward. They don't do a lot of bunch of games and schemes where they're pulling people. They do it maybe one every now and then. But you have to get your linemen into the backfield to stop that forward progress.
It'll make it 2nd down and 11 now. Miami with 4 receivers in the game. Back to pass. Rose got it out there complete across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Dedrick Ward with a catch. Gain of 7. It'll bring up 3rd down. Eric Davis makes the stop for Detroit.
Here comes a big 3rd down for the Lions. Well, and the Dolphins understand that too, that they can get a stop here, Dan. They'll have enough time on the clock to move the ball. They found that they can move the ball on this defense. And if they get the ball back, they probably feel pretty good with their chance of moving the ball, getting some points out of this, and going into the halftime. Either 7 points down or 11 points down. Either way, it'll be a good confidence booster for them.
Well, they need to come up with a stop right here. Robert Edwards is checked in. Photography screen for the Dolphins. Jay Fiedler out of the shotgun. Pressure comes from behind. Throws, and he throws it away. Looking for Dedrick Ward, but man, was the pressure coming from James Hall.
Nice pressure by James Hall. Jay Fiedler was sitting in the pocket very comfortably. Didn't think anything was happening. You see James Hall come from the outside. Coming right here, they say what he does well is that he does a good job of getting leverage, and he did a good job of getting leverage on Dixon. It puts him back right into the quarterback. Jay Fiedler got to understand, hey, there's no one back there blocking for you. You've got to get rid of the ball, but there's no running back to help you block. You've got to find your receiver and get rid of it down.
The Lions will get it back. Mark Royals angles it to the left side. Desmond Howard back deep for Detroit, takes it at his 11. Howard back to the 20. Won't get much farther than that. Taken down at about the 24. And that's where the Lions will be 7 to go in the first half. 1st down and 10. 3 receivers for the Lions, but it's Avion Kason getting the call. Nice room as he gets out across the 30 to the 34. Close to the 1st down marker, but there's a flag down in the backfield, and it's going to be holding against the Lions.
Well, the play was still going on, Dan. That flag was already on the ground, so it was pretty obvious that someone got mugged there.
Holding 76 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
Penalty called on Jeff Backus, former Michigan Wolverine, who's done a very nice job for the Lions at left tackle. He's going to make it 1st and 20 down.
You can see he just grabs him and tackling him, and just threw him down.
Lamont Warren is checked into the backfield for Detroit. 3 receivers. That's Schrader in the slot. They go to Schrader. Incomplete. Looked like there might have been a bit of a mix-up there.
Mix-up.
Schrader looked like he was coming to a stop.
Mix-up, Dan. That wasn't no mix-up. That was somebody putting on the brakes saying, oh, wait a minute, don't throw it to me. I might get hit. You know, the one thing about, I played against Schrader for a lot of years up in Green Bay, and the one thing is that he was a big, tall receiver, had a lot of talent, but he didn't like to get the contact. Most receivers don't, but the good ones, hey, make the play. And there is no reason why I couldn't see why I couldn't catch it. I mean, he just stopped.
2nd down and 20 after that play. Schrader again in the slot to the left side for Detroit. They need to get something going here. They are backed up. Here comes the pressure. But man, it's going to go down right at the 12-yard line. It's going to be a loss of a couple, and it's going to be 3rd down and long. Rob Burnett, who was released by Baltimore during the offseason and picked up by the Dolphins, comes up with a sack.
That is the 2-minute warning.
You can see the pocket, meaning the cup around McMahon is just starting to collapse, and these guys who are very athletic, the Miami Dolphins linebackers are very athletic, and they can close on anybody.
2-minute warning here in Miami. The Lions facing a 3rd and 22, down 14. Back with that. Florida, Miami leading Detroit 21-7, and there is more than the climate to like down here.
Look, Dan, it's those girls that were following us yesterday. I thought we called the cops on them to tell us to stop harassing us.
Yeah, only if they were cops and we ran that red light. 3rd down 22 from the 12. Problem is, if they chased us, Mark, they catch us. We're not as fast as we used to be.
The way they look, we probably would let them.
Here's Mike McMahon. Needs a lot. Throws it out there. Screen to Kason. Kason to the 15. Using his blockers. Cuts it back out near the 30-yard line. Gain of 18, but that won't be enough. It'll be 4th down. Zach Thomas finally chased him down there.
Miami takes its third.
Miami uses its final timeout. They'll get the ball back when we come back.
Say 30-second timeout.
Back in Miami. Lions set to punt it away. John Jett puts his foot into it. Albert Johnson bobbles it at the 32, gets a hold of it. Back to the 40, cuts outside, 45, flag down. Johnson to the 40, finally driven out of bounds at the Lions' 35-yard line by Bradford Banta, but hang on, there's a flag all the way back down the field at around the 41.
You got to be pushing right in the back. Head set up. You got to get that head in front of the guy.
There's the call, and it will indeed be against the Miami Dolphins.
Illegal blocking the back. 51 receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty called on Tommy Hendricks, but you did see there, Mark, what the Dolphins like about Albert Johnson, who did a terrific job on that punt return. He won this job because of his ability to make big plays in the return game.
You're going to see, running down the field, you see him, geez. I think you and I can call that one, Dan. That was pretty obvious there. That hurt the Dolphins' chances in great field position right now.
All right, Dolphins have it back. They look good on the scoreboard, up 21-7. Jay Fiedler out of the shotgun. Gives it on the delay to Robert Edwards. Edwards with some room out across the 40 to the 44-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 9.
Dan, we got to see if those 2 timeouts they took early in the first quarter will come back to hurt Dolphins right now because they're in a hurry-up mode. They only have 1 timeout left.
As we said a moment ago, the Dolphins have burned a couple of timeouts so far. Jay Fiedler back, looks, flips it out there to Edwards across midfield, down inside the 45 to the 43. Barrett Green takes it down there, and Miami will hustle back to the line.
Keep going. It's like they have to hurry up because they, like I said, they want to burn that timeout. The Lions know that.
Fiedler from the shotgun now on 1st and 10. Pumps, looks out there, throws for Chambers. Got him at the 23. Chambers with a terrific catch. Corey Harris upends him, but he hung on to the ball.
This kid is very excited. I've never seen him play until now, and I can see why they have high hopes about him. He's not a tall guy, but he's got long arms and long legs, and he's very athletic.
Fiedler will kill the clock with 36 seconds to go, and Miami in business. 2nd down and 10 from the Detroit 23. Take another look.
You can see that wasn't his first receiver. Fiedler just picked him up late, saw it was open, threw in the ball, and Chris Chambers makes an excellent play. Takes a hit, gets up, bounce up, no problem.
Chambers healthy this year. Missed their playoff game last year with a sprained ankle. Came to camp this year, it was still bothering him. He says he feels pretty good right now, and he looked good on that catch right there. 1st down, check that, 2nd down and 10 for the Dolphins. 36 seconds to go. Fiedler from the shotgun, pump fake, looking for Dietrich Ward, who came out of the slot. It's incomplete. Pressure was coming. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and special guest Jimmy Johnson will have scores and highlights from around the league, and our Fox Sports ticker will have up-to-date stats. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. And I know you want those stats because I'm guessing a couple of you out there might be in a fantasy football league or two.
You think Jimmy took his boat all the way to California through the Panama Canal, or did they send a private jet out to the Keys to pick him up?
I'm thinking when his plane leaves, he's going to be back on that boat by about 8 o'clock tonight. 3rd down 10 now for the Dolphins, trying to keep their drive alive. 31 seconds to go. Here comes the blitz. Fiedler gets it off. Robert Edwards with room, hesitates at the 20, inside the 15, carrying tacklers down to the 8. Jeff Gooch finally stopped him. Gain of 15, and it's going to be 1st and goal Miami.
They got to hurry. They're going to spike it. They got to spike it right now. They got 1 timeout left.
Fiedler kills the clock with 12 seconds to go. They've got enough time to take a couple of cracks at the end zone.
Excuse me, they have no timeouts left.
They burned a couple early and then took one before the punt a moment ago. But boy, did they set this screen up, and it was perfect timing because the blitz was on. Ricky Williams is checked back in for Miami. First and goal just outside the 9.
Well, they definitely have to take, they can take at least 2 shots into the end zone right here, Dan. They do it quick.
But got to get into the end zone. That's the thing. They won't have enough time to get everybody back to the line and kill the ball. Throws, got it, man. Chambers, touchdown. And if you're a Lions fan, that was just too easy.
Yeah, that is too easy. Eric Davis sitting all inside on this route. That's what you're told to do. He gives a hit move out to the outside, and Eric Davis, who's a veteran player, knows better than that. Jumped on that first move. Easy. That was just too easy of a touchdown. Eric Davis knows that that's not what you do. You don't jump on that first inside move.
Eric Davis, in his 13th year out of Jacksonville State, gets burned right there. Chambers with the touchdown pass from Jay Fiedler, and the Dolphins with 8 seconds left in the first half, leading Detroit 28-7. So where a moment ago it looked as if the Lions might have some momentum, the Dolphins come and take it right back.
Yeah, the Lions have finally built momentum. They moved the ball down the field, scored a touchdown. Was hoping that they can get it back. Jay Fiedler took his offense down. You can see, look how easy throw this is. He's got help. You see 25, Corey Harris is sitting inside waiting on the inside. He's got help inside waiting on. I don't see why Corey Harris didn't break out to the out, and I don't see why Eric Davis jumped. He's playing inside too. They want you to throw the ball to the outside, and you can't just let a receiver get into the inside the red zone. It's just too easy. That was just such an easy throw.
Well, I think certainly if there was a question about the Lions defense, it's at the corner.
It is at the corner.
Eric Davis, 13th year, Todd Light, 12th year. Question whether or not those guys can get it done in the long haul in the National Football League at this point in their careers.
Exactly right. They're both former Pro Bowl players. Both have won Super Bowls. Very good players at one time, but yet they don't have the quickness and speed they used to have to cover one-on-one by themselves anymore.
The Dolphins scoring drive there, 8 plays, 66 yards in just a minute 28. Maury to Desmond Howard. Howard on the return. Back to the 30. Howard shakes at the 35. Down he will go right there. That should be the end of the first half. Arturo Freeman making the tackle on special teams for Miami. And that is indeed the end of the first half with the score. Miami 28, the Lions 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue. JP, Terry, Howie, and special guest Jimmy Johnson will be along for the Visa Halftime Report after these messages and a word
with Jimmy Johnson here as we get you caught up on the scores at the half. Atlanta's Michael Vick, more impressive in the first half. 21-13 over the Packers. Packers only lost at home last year to Atlanta.
Randy Moss said if I'd been the leader of the Vikings the last 4 years, we would have already won a Super Bowl. Well, talk is cheap. Show me. Booker says, I'll show you how to get it done. Miller, 29-yard post route, touchdown, 7-3. Bears up and going. Dante Culpepper says you're going to blitz, come to the outside. Nobody takes the quarterback. There's your touchdown run of 2 yards, 10-7 Vikings. And then Moss with just 3 catches for 4 yards in the first half. Hello, here it is, 33-yard touch. 3 people on him. Keep on going. Now, hey, Vikings looking awfully impressive. 20-10 over the Bears. Head to half.
Miami looking for an opportunity to win again for the 11th straight season opening, and they're doing it.
This guy can flat rush the passer. Javon Curse having to lead this game for Tennessee with a sprained left foot. Steve McNair says, don't worry about it, big fella. I'll take care of it. A little scramble by him. Hits Eddie George in the flat. He does the rest. 14-yard touchdown. Reception, 7-0 Tennessee. Donovan McNabb, 2 touchdown passes in the first half. Awfully impressive. This 7-yarder to Chad Lewis, his 3rd receiver on a crossing route. It's all Eagles. When they score 21 points in the first half, they have won their last 20 games. That's a lot of stats, Brad. All right, Redskins, Steve Spurrier looking on. Plummer out of the backfield. Scrambles in. Touchdown of 7 yards. Love that guy. 10-3 Arizona. Shane Matthews back. Sets up. Guns it. Post route. Great job by Matthews. He looked off the other safety. Kevin Lockett took it in 25 yards. Cardinals 13-10 over the Redskins. Got a ball game.
All tied up in Buffalo, 17-all between the Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Ravens will be struggling this year. Right now, the Panthers on top by 3. Panthers won only 1 game last year. They won the opener, right? Browns, look at Jimmy's guy up there doing the job. And the Chargers, aren't they supposed to be conservative, low-scoring? 20-0 there at the half. And the Colts, 14-7 over the Jaguars. Talking first, Atlanta, Green Bay. You said it during the pregame show. Quarterbacks, if you got good feet, do what with them?
Move around, buy some time for your receivers, and run. Michael Vick, he may become a Barry Sanders type player, the type of player you want to watch wherever he is. Keep your eyes focused on Michael Vick. Could be an exciting, great player.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about 110 degrees and above on the playing surface in Green Bay. It's not just the 5 rushes for 43 yards in the first half that Michael Vick has. It's his ability to buy time in the pocket and force those defensive linemen to run even more. I guarantee you there's 6 or 7 defensive linemen laying on the floor of the locker room at halftime and might wilt in the second half.
Miami with Ricky Williams looking pretty good. Detroit not looking good at all right now.
No, and I'm looking forward to having Matt Millen back with us next year. The way things are looking there. I'm sorry.
You make a habit of ripping former colleagues of ours.
I'm not ripping him.
And
The facts are the facts.
Am
I ripping him? I am not ripping him.
Miami's got a bunch of new weapons. McMichael at tight end is exciting. And then on top of that, Chris Chambers coming on strong. So Norv Turner's calling a bunch of plays. He can go here, there, or if he doesn't like what he sees, hand it to Ricky Williams.
Yeah, that's 2 more weapons than Matt has in Detroit.
That's not my problem. But the best acquisition in Miami to me is Norv Turner. I think the guy's brilliant.
Yeah.
Michael Vick, 10 for 10, 134 yards and a touch in the first half.
Were you ever 10 for 10 in your career?
Jimmy, I've never been 10 for 10, but I did win some championships.
Oh.
Okay, did win some championships. That's right. You
Look
want to
at this. Jimmy,
Don't
we
forget.
missed
Go
it.
ahead. Go ahead. The guy that used to sit in this chair, he
Somebody
didn't
hit
have
somebody.
any
Love fest known as the Visa halftime will continue after this.
Back in Miami, it is halftime. The Dolphins leading the Lions by a score of 28-7. Let's check in with our Mike DePasquale, who caught up with Lions head coach Marty Mornhinweg just moments ago.
Well, Coach Marty Mornhinweg, Coach, it's just so much the mistakes that's hurting this team. The penalties in the first quarter hampered their drive, and then, of course, that punt mistake that resulted in a Dolphin touchdown.
Well, we've got to do the right thing in all 3 aspects of the football game. I think we know we can move the ball a little bit on them. Our defense has to stop them on 3rd downs and get themselves off the field. But listen, we're 3 touchdowns down. It's a long game.
Coach, the heat, a lot of people have made a lot of that. You brought your team down 2 days early. Are they trying to acclimate themselves to this condition?
Well, we tried to get the acclimation done before we came. So, you know, we did a few things for that, and we'll see in the second half if that thing worked.
Coach, good luck in the second half. All right, guys, back upstairs.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. Marty Mornhinweg and the Lions down 21 with the score 28-7. We'll return to Miami for the start of the second half after these messages.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Well, moments ago, a flyover at halftime here in Miami from the 87th Flying Training Squadron from Laughlin Air Force Base in Texas. Now, this past Friday, Rob Conrad, the big fullback for the Miami Dolphins, had a chance to visit with some of the pilots that were involved there. So I'm sure it's been a great weekend for them, and we certainly appreciate their participation at this football game today. Now let's talk about this game, Mark. Down 28-7. What do the Lions have to do to get back in it?
Well, one, they've got to stop them on defense. They haven't stopped but maybe one time the whole first half. They've got to stop them, maybe create some turnovers, and get their offensive chance on the field with some opportunities to score some points.
One thing they have to do is stop making mistakes. One on special teams cost them a touchdown. Can't have that when you're bouncing back from a 2-14 season and facing a team that's thinking about a Super Bowl. Let's swing it down. Take a look at the kickoff coming up in the second half. Desmond Howard back deep for the Lions. As we said, they trail in this one 28-7. They'll have the football first. Lindo Mare set to get things going here in the second half. The third quarter's underway. Desmond Howard will have a chance to take this one back. Takes it at his own 3, back to the 20, dives to the 21. That's where the Lions will take over. Deion Dyer with the special teams tackle for Miami. Let's take a look back. Some of the scoring plays from the first half, Mark.
Yeah, well, this is the first one. Ricky Williams power football right up the stage, and this is just a dumb play. I don't care how young the kid is. That happens everywhere you go in football. Pop Warner Heights. Again, the touchdown to McMichael, who they love a lot. The one drive by the Detroit Lions scored a touchdown, and this was just too easy. This was just flat out too easy right here by Chris Chambers.
Add it all up, and it's the Dolphins leading 28-7. Avion Case on a wide receiver in the slot, and the ball is picked off by Brock Marion. chased by Mike McMahon and driven out of bounds at the 3. So the Lions turn it over on the first play out of the box, and Brock Marion has got the Dolphins knocking on the door.
This is not how they want to start off the second half. Brock Marion played this perfectly. He's a veteran. He's been in Super Bowls. He's one of the better safeties in the league. He understands the game. He knows what's going on. He reads Mike McMahon perfectly. Look at him. Watch him just go to the outside there, Dan. Excellent, excellent read by a free safety. I could say it looks like me. It looks like what I used to do.
Mike McMahon looked a little like you in the secondary right there. Nice play to make the tackle and save the touchdown. But certainly at this point, the Dolphins look like they're going to add to their lead momentarily. Marcus Spriggs is reported in as eligible. Ricky Williams is going to be the deep back behind Deion Dyer. No wide receivers in right now for the Dolphins. This definitely their power set. Gives to Williams, tries the left side. Williams going to walk in. Touchdown, Dolphins. Ricky Williams with the 2-yard run, and Miami now leads 34-7. Just like that, the Lions come out and turn it over, and the Dolphins take advantage.
We know Ricky Williams has the power, Dan, but he also has the quickness to get to the corner, and you saw right there, he just outran the defensive back to the corner for the touchdown.
Lindo Mare in to attempt the extra point. Spot down, the kick is up, and it is good, and it is 35-7 here in South Florida. The Dolphins very much in command of this one. The Lions 35-7 here in South Florida. Lindo Mare's been a busy guy today.
Yeah.
Extra points and kickoffs.
That's how they like it.
Mare puts his foot into it. Larry Foster is back deep this time for the Lions. Takes it at the 10, back to the 15, 20. Foster across the 30 now, dragged down from behind by Ray Green. The Lions will take over at the 33-yard line. I want to remind you, coming up next, more NFL action. Rams and Broncos. Marshall Faulk, Brian Griese squaring off. And Mark, that looks like a terrific matchup for week 1 of the National Football League. That's some very, very good ones right out of the box.
The Lions just need to make positive yards right now.
Trying Avion Kason. He's not going to get much over the right side. Taken down by Patrick Surtain. Meanwhile, Sam Madison has a right ankle injury, and he will not return for the Dolphins today.
Now, he is a big part of their pass defense. Normally, when you have a #1 pass defense, Dan, it's usually because your front four are pretty good, doing a good job. You have the quarterback. Well, to the man, we talked to the defensive players, those cornerbacks set things up for them.
Lamont Warren is checked in at running back for the Lions. He gets the call here. Pitch to the right side. Not much room there for him either, and the Dolphins are really bottling everything up.
The Dolphins feel now that, hey, they could need to take over today. They're trying to put the Lions away right now. Just you know, that second half play, giving up an interception right away and touchdown in less than a minute into the half, Dan. It's a huge blow to your team. You come out, you get them rejuvenated. Coach Morning get them rejuvenated going out to the second half, and come out and give up that.
Well, it kind of takes the air out of your Newt Rockne speech at halftime, that's for sure.
Newt.
3rd down and 12 now. McMahon in the pocket throws, gets it to Hakeem, slips out of one tackle, still moving. Hakeem diving for the 40. Nice effort. He'll be short of the first down. Brock Marion finally corralled him to gain a 10 for Detroit, but they'll still have to punt it away.
Well, it's a good job by Hakeem. You see, like I say, he's one of the best slot guys. Catches the ball. He should be tackled right there, doesn't move. He at least trying to give some effort. At least he's doing it on the Detroit Lions sideline. So that should at least show some hope that, hey, one of our elite players we brought in to make plays is still trying to win.
So on 4th and 2, John Jett comes on for Detroit. Albert Johnson back deep for Miami. Jett gets the punt away, and it's a good one. Johnson calls a fair catch and goes all the way back to his 5-yard line to do it, and I think he's going to hear about that when he gets over to the sidelines. So Miami will be backed up at their own 5, but they do lead in this one by a score of 35-7. We'll be right back. Dolphins leading the Lions 35-7. They have it 1st and 10, right around third base. Down on the field here at the stadium in Miami. There you can see it. Dirt from the baseball field still out there. Ricky Williams with the carry, tries the left side, not much there. Gain of 3, it'll bring up 2nd down. And we've seen a lot of different sides of Ricky Williams since he came into the National Football League. You remember his rookie year with New Orleans, he would conduct interviews with his helmet on. And Ricky Williams, quite frankly, was regarded as something of a strange bird by those around him. But things have changed. After being diagnosed with a social anxiety disorder and receiving treatment, Ricky Williams is a much more comfortable man right now around the media, around his teammates, and in the National Football League.
The thing I like about what he said he likes himself now. That's a big to be comfortable with himself first and foremost.
Ricky Williams again, the carry right there. It's going to bring up 3rd down for the Dolphins.
You know, Dan,
Eric Davis and Chris Claiborne with a tackle.
He even now he's so turned around now in the way he feels about himself and about playing football and being around players that he has his own website now called www.runrickyrun, where people tap into his website, and he's trying to help people deal with the same disorder that he's had. So he's turned the negative into the positive to help other people too. Very willing to talk about it. And Ricky Williams did not know what was wrong with him for a long time, and he wants to help others that might be in the same position. 3rd down, 2 now for Miami, leading by 28. Again, Williams, 3rd straight carry for him. Trying to get the 1st down, needed to get out to about the 21-yard line. Looks like they might be short. Sean Rogers bottling things up in the middle for Detroit. Good job. Like you said, penetration does a good job against this offense. You get back to it, you can make plays. The 2 times they've stopped him short has been from good penetration.
Sean Rogers, in his 2nd year out of Texas, 2nd-round draft pick back in 2001, started all 16 games as a rookie last year. Did a terrific job. They're expecting bigger and better things out of him this year. Larry Foster back deep for Detroit.
Robert Forshea, who's very high of this young man.
Mark Royal's punt, a line drive taken by Foster back to midfield. Stutter steps, goes down at about the 46. Great field position for Detroit. Trent Gamble with a stop. That's where the Lions will have it. 1st and 10, trailing 35-7. Lions rookie Joey Harrington looking on. So far, it has been Mike McMahon the whole way. Harrington, of course, the number 3 overall pick in this past year's draft. Marty Morningwig has been steadfast in his belief that his starting quarterback is Mike McMahon. 1st down does not net much for Detroit. Jason Taylor came out with a football.
Yeah, I mean, this kid, you talk to all the players and everybody around Joey, and they just love what he brings to the table. They feel he's going to be a big-time quarterback in this league when he gets his chance. Now, the question is, with this score and the way things are going, do you bring him into the game here, Dan?
Well, Marty Morningwig told us yesterday that we would not see him. We'll have to wait and see if that changes based on the way the scoreboard looks right now, down 35-7. Mike McMahon trying to do something about it here on 2nd down. Out of pressure, into the secondary. McMahon slides down around the 36-yard line. He's going to be just short of a 1st down. It's going to be 3rd down coming up for Detroit.
Now, I know McMahon has only been, this is his 1st time really starting at quarterback. He's got to know where to slide at. He's a very athletic guy. They talk about how great an athlete he is, and I know he don't want to get hit, but you're losing 35-7. You've got to go get the 1st down any chance you get.
Well, it's going to be 3rd and less than 1 for Detroit. They're at the 36. They need to get to just about the 35-yard line. Corey Schlesinger, the lone back behind McMahon. Now it's an empty backfield. McMahon looks, throws, got Oz Hakeem across the 30, and Hakeem stopped at the 28. But it will be a 1st down for Detroit. Brock Marion wrapping him up there.
This is where they brought Oz Hakeem in. Again, you see it with, of course, with the Rams. You saw all those great big plays they have. But Oz Hakeem is a slot receiver, meaning he's always going to be the inside, where he can move, where you don't have to get bumped by a defender, and he works great. He's so quick, it's hard to cover him when he does those little stutter routes he does, which he did there to get the 1st down. It's almost impossible. You literally have to say we got to double him because you can't stop him one-on-one when he's in that slot position.
3 receivers in the game now for Detroit. Hakeem, Schrader, and Anderson. It's Lamont Warren in motion. Hakeem was lined up in the backfield. Goes out into the flat. Takes the football. Drilled right around the line of scrimmage. Arturo Freeman with the stop. It's 35-7 here. Let's see what else is happening around the NFL. Check in with James Brown.
Hey, Dan, first possession of the second half for the Redskins, and they come out running it. Stephen Davis takes it 3 yards for the score. Bill Grammatical with the field goal. It's 17-16 Washington. Rondell Mealy in for the injured Ahman Green, and the fullback takes it 2 yards. And now Atlanta nursing a 1-point lead, 21-20. Back to Dan Miller and Mark Carrier.
All right, JB, thank you very much. What do you know? Steve Spurrier will run the football after all.
I tell you what, I'm hoping the Redskins do well, but if he doesn't run Stephen Davis, they will struggle. He needs to run him almost as many times as he throw the ball. He's just that good of that type of back where he control a lot of the game, Dan.
Lions trying to run it right there. Avion Cason getting the call. Nothing up front. Tim Bowens, Jermaine Haley, both there to greet him. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 7.
Here's where their struggle's been in 3rd down, and they've always been caught in 3rd down and long. At least they are in Jason Hanson's field goal range, but you know, field goals won't do it. The Dolphins let them have field goals for the rest of the day. They need to get 7 points.
Scotty Anderson to the far side of the field. Oz Hakeem to the near side. Bill Schrader in the slot. 3rd down 7 for Detroit. Man to pass. Pocket Holmes gets it to Hakeem inside the 20, down to the 12. Taken down there by Ray Green. 1st down for Detroit after a gain of 13.
There's Hakeem right there, and I talk about being a good receiver in the slot. Well, now he's on the outside, just instead of moving, boom, quick. He just lulls the defender asleep, Dan, boom, right there, getting on stride. He makes things happen. He's a playmaker where he can make things happen on his own.
Oz Hakeem today, 6 catches for 61 yards. Lions need about 13 more right here. 1st and 10 from the 13, trailing 35-7. Again, McMahon back and looking. Pocket Holmes looking out there, throws, got it, touchdown Lions, Lamont Warren. McMahon had nowhere to go, but he hung on long enough, and Warren came free. The Lions back on the scoreboard, now trailing 35-13.
He had good protection, Dan. He was able, you know, McMahon's a good scrambler, but right there, he was able to sit in the pocket. He didn't have to really, he just kept his feet alive, kept his head looking down the field. Lamont Warren did it out. There was nothing there. The linebacker turned his head back. He went into the end zone, touchdown.
Jason Hanson on to attempt the extra point for Detroit. Snap and the spot are both good, and the kick is good as well. So it's 35-14 here with 6:19 to go in the 3rd quarter. Mike McMahon and Lamont Warren hooking up for Detroit. Beautiful sights in scenic South Florida. That's where we are right now. Dolphins hosting the Lions, leading 35-14. Albert Johnson back deep to take the kickoff, does it about the 6. Johnson with room, breaks across the 40, taken down at the 41. Taken down right there by Todd Light. Flags come in from everywhere. Looked like it might be a face mask. And Johnson did not like it one bit.
No, that wasn't a face mask, Dan. That was a decapitation there. The bad part is there's only one referee saw it. There's only one flag down. You would think there would have been about 4 flags flying on that. It was pretty obvious. It's the 15-yarder. Todd Light, a veteran player, knows better than that. I mean, he just grabs him and just slings him down.
Yeah, and that's exactly why that rule's in there. You got Johnson going full speed the other way, and Todd Light just yanking him back.
He knows Light's a Notre Dame guy. He knows there's some weakness there. He knows that there's some weakness being an SC guy. We know there's some weakness in Notre Dame players. He can go after it.
Spoken like a true USC alum.
Wow. Face mask, number 26. Defense. Correction. Kicking team. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Well, they called it on Eric Davis. It was, in fact, on Todd Light. And that's going to be 15 yards down the field for the Miami Dolphins. So they're going to have great field position, already leading 35-14.
I mean, this is very frustrating to watch. They finally get a drive. They move the ball, score a touchdown, and yet they give up a kickoff return on top of it, a 15-yard face mask penalty to put them even back in field goal range again. So are in good positive position. They've got to stop shooting themselves in the foot right now.
Well, they need to come up with a stop right here. Miami's already in great field position. 2 tight ends for the Dolphins. It's Jet Weaver in motion. Ricky Williams, the lone setback. Ball fake to Williams. Fiedler rolling right. Pressure coming from Robert Bourget. And Fiedler threw it away. And Fiedler hit McMichael right in the head with a football. McMichael didn't know it was coming. Fiedler was trying to get rid of it, and McMichael took one right off the noggin.
Now, they've ran this play a couple of times, and this is the first time they ran it without doing at least 1 or 2 running plays with Ricky Williams to set it up. You know, the Lions have they've scouted this play. When you run Ricky, you get that power game run inside. Your linebackers and everybody are looking at him now. When they don't run him and then set it up, it's easy to defend.
The only way he was going to catch that would have been if it had been wedged in his face mask. A little confusion down on the field. The play clock's already down to 4 seconds. Jay Fiedler's going to come over and call timeout. Smart play. He let it run all the way down before he called the timeout. He'll come over the sidelines and talk about it. Dolphins up by 21. Back in Miami, Dan Miller along with Mark Carrier. Dolphins leading the Lions by a score of 35-14. 6 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the third quarter. Ricky Williams, you see there, the first Heisman Trophy winner to ever play in a regular season game for the Dolphins. Of course, won it in Texas in 1998. It's surprising when you think about it. The Dolphins, long history. They at one time did have Steve Spurrier, never played in a regular season game. They traded for Rashaan Salam. He never played in a regular season game. Williams gets the call right here. On left side, gets the edge across the 40. 35 down to the 30, still going, cuts it back. Williams inside the 15, inside the 10. Ricky Williams all the way down near the 5-yard line. A big gain on the play of 38 yards.
Oh, nice run by Ricky. You can see he's going to follow his lineman all the way to the outside. Brian Williams on the right here has a chance to get him. He reaches out, missed him, and now he turns it up, and he's got a big lineman in front of him blocking for him. Nails is blocking. Hey, I'll stay right behind him too.
So Ricky Williams puts the Dolphins in business again. 1st and goal at the 6. Ricky Williams today, 19 carries for 110 yards. The Lions have thrown the red flag out. I think they're going to try to figure out whether or not Ricky Williams stepped out of bounds.
That's a good point.
It's the only thing I can think of. Marty Morningwig is going to ask him to take a look at this on replay.
Well, they had a good view on their sideline because the run went right at them.
Challenge is ruling on the field that the runner was inbound at the 31-yard line.
Or out of bounds, as the case may be. 19 carries for 110 yards for Williams, if that holds up. Take a look right around the 31.
It's hard to see it. It was just right by the down marker where you couldn't really see his foot there. It was very close to that sideline there, Dan.
The down marker's at about the 33 if we take another look at it. It's Williams to the outside.
Well, I can't believe they're calling a flag from at that point.
Nothing there. I think it was a little earlier.
I think it was earlier. I think it's right, like I said, right around the down. The down marker's on 33. I'm thinking.
Take a look right here.
Right there.
There's the down marker. It would be his next step right there that the Lions are contending he might have been out of bounds. Tough to tell from that angle. It's roughly 25 yards from where the play ended. This might be our best view of it right here. Take a look at his left leg right there. Very, very close.
It's like the 33-yard line. I mean, it would still be a first down. Hey, when you're down 35-14, you get whatever you can at this point.
But remember, it's got to be clear for the officials to overturn their ruling that he was in fact in bounds.
I don't think they change it. I think it's too hard to tell unless they've got some camera on the sign. They can zoom, some super zoom lens to see that left foot, see if it steps on the back.
Marty Morningwig risking a timeout here, but when you're down 35-14 at this point,
what is he risking?
Why not?
Yeah, truly, what is he risking?
Throw a couple of flags out there.
Hey, there were 2 of them out there.
Because basically, if it becomes 42-14, they might be throwing a white flag out there.
Yeah. Speaking of white flag, Roy Jones Jr. last night, his counterpart, he was beating him to a pulp where his cornerman finally had to stand up and say, "Hey, no mas, that's enough."
After reviewing the play, there is no visual evidence which overturn the call. For the play, the ruling on the field stands. Detroit is calling a timeout.
Well, the Lions are charged with a timeout. They lose the challenge right there. And it will, in fact, be first and goal from the 6 for Miami. See the timeouts there after Detroit loses one, 2 each. But as we said, down 35-14, it's hard to believe the timeouts are going to play a part in this one for a while. And with that run and going over the 100-yard mark, Ricky Williams now has the 13th 100-yard game of his career. And his first as a Miami Dolphin in his first regular season game with the Dolphins. Fever again to Williams. Hesitates at the line, driven down right there by Sean Rogers. It'll be second and goal.
Hey, that was a big hit by Sean Rogers. You'll see Ricky Williams' head kind of snaps back when he hits him. They talk a lot about this hit, that he's just a superstar waiting to happen. But you're going to see Ricky Williams, and next thing you're going to see his head jar back. You're going to see those braids flop up in the air when Sean Rogers hits him.
Couple of Longhorns going head-to-head right there. They played together for 2 years when each was at Texas. Right now, Williams is getting the better of this meeting. Second down goal now. Fever with 2 receivers and 2 backs behind him. Fakes the pitch to Williams. Rolling right. Robert Porcher in pursuit. Fever's going to keep it to the 5 and driven out of bounds at the 3. Robert Porcher was in pursuit. Brian Williams coming up to force the run as well. And it's going to be third down and goal.
Oh, that's a nice play by the Lions defense. They backed off, played a deep zone, had everybody covered. They've been trying to do this misdirection all day. They've had good success with it. And this time the Lions had it scouted. And Robert Porcher come from the backside, running him down.
Robert Porcher in the Pro Bowl last year. 3rd time in 5 years he's made the postseason trip to Hawaii. Ricky Williams is checked out of the game. Robert Edwards in. 3rd down and goal for Fiedler and the Dolphins. Straight drop throws. Got his man. Going to get in the end zone. You bet. Touchdown, Robert Edwards. 3 years out of the National Football League. He's back, and he's back in the end zone. I don't care who you root for, you have to be happy for Robert Edwards. It took a lot of determination and a lot of painful hours in rehab for him to get back out here.
That was basically just a clear-out play. Chambers came in, cleared out, went behind him, and Robert Edwards snuck underneath him. Fever hits him right at the goal line, touchdown.
Extra point up and good by Olindo Mare, and it is now 42-14. Dolphins leading the Lions in the 3rd quarter. Lindo Mare sends it to Larry Foster. Foster at the goal line, back to the 15, to the 20. Ducks his way out to the 25. 1st and 10 Lions there. Tommy Hendricks making the stop for the Dolphins. I want to remind you, Fox NFL Sunday returns next week when JB, Terry, and Howie welcome special guest John Elway. The future Hall of Famer will tell our guys who he thinks the elite quarterbacks are around the game today, and also help break down next week's games. Fox NFL Sunday returns next week at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, followed by exciting NFL action as most of you will see the Lions battle the Panthers. 42-14 Miami. McMahon on the handoff to Corey Schlesinger. Breaks it to the right side, picks up a couple. Moreland Greenwood, 2nd year out of Syracuse, making the stop for the Dolphins.
Corey Schlesinger's been their only running back next to McMahon, so I think you go back with him. You can see now what Coach Morningweg is going to do with McMahon. He's going to just spread things out, just tell McMahon to drop back, get your reads, run around, just try to make something happen. You're down 42-14. You've got to find a way to make plays, get things moving, get the offense moving. 2nd and 8 for the Lions. Fakes the give. McMahon to Schlesinger, and he is drilled by Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas read that perfectly, and the Lions got absolutely nothing. There's Zach right there. He reads it. He's got the fullback man-to-man. He sniffs it out. Boom, right there. Hey, you know what? When his Corey Schlesinger's back is to him, I think he'll take him on every time. I asked Zach, I said, man, you're 5 foot nothing, 200 something nothing. How do you do it? And he said, hey, playing, I just have to study more. and be much more into the game than most other people because I don't have the physical stature like the other players do.
Lions with a bit of a mix-up there. Avion Kason wasn't sure whether or not he's supposed to be on the field. Play clock running down. Stays out there. Lions feel like they have the proper personnel now, but they were running out of time. Flags everywhere as he tried to throw it out to Hakeem. Avion Kason in the area as well. That just looked poor from the start. The Lions had all sorts of mix-up going there.
I think they should have called a timeout there. I mean, granted, you always want to save your timeouts, but at this point, there's a lot of confusion. You got 2 players on the sideline wondering who's in. Hey, take your timeout, get things calmed down, and let's just make sure we do the right thing.
2 fouls on the play.
Not a happy man right there.
We had an illegal substitution. The player went out of bounds, came back inbound, and did not go inside the number. Holding on the offense, number 65. Both penalties are declined. 4th down.
Well, after all of that, it is indeed 4th down and 7, so the Lions are going to have to punt it away, and Albert Johnson is back deep for the Dolphins again.
Well, there's where McMahon, where his maturity will come into play down the road, where he sees there's chaos, confusion. You saw Jay Fiedler take 2 timeouts in the first part of the game early. Take your timeout, regroup your troops, and make sure you got everything intact.
John Jett set to punt it away for Detroit. He does. Nice punt. Johnson calls for the fair catch. He takes it at about the 22. That's where the Dolphins will take over. We'll take another look here at what happened just a couple of moments ago. It's Avion Kason at the top of the
guy
screen.
who got penalized right there. He goes out. It's like, okay, you're in. No, I'm in. Okay, I'm back in. Okay, all right. Well, the rule of thumb is, so in this, you used to be able to do this. It used to be a trick play in the NFL, and they said, hey, enough is that. But guys used to think he was going out and come back in. Now, when you go back to the sideline, you have to report back into the huddle before you go out.
All right, so the Lions punt it away and give it up. Mistakes will cost you, and they've made plenty of them today. Coming off a 2-14 season, there's not a lot of margin for error. Travis Minor, 2nd year out of Florida State, has checked in for the Dolphins. First time we've seen him on offense today. Minor gets the call here, tries the left side. Nothing doing out there. Driven back by Brian Walker. He lost a couple.
That was a great play by Brian Walker. I tell you what, I know what you guys are thinking, but this was a nice play by Brian Walker, and I'll tell you why it was a great play by Brian Walker. When you're down 42-14, you can throw it in. He gets blocked, gets knocked on the feet, gets up, and still makes the play. That's what you call, that's a good play. I mean, that's something that will be highlighted on film session, I promise you.
That was a good play. We've been waiting for you, though, to open up the Brian Walker Admiration Society.
What's wrong with the guy wanted my autograph?
I thought it was Brian yesterday. We asked Mark for his autograph.
Twice.
Mark said, do you want me to sign the hat, or do you want me to sign a piece of paper? He said, oh. Travis Minor there, opening over the left side, out near the 1st down marker, taken down by Kelvin Pritchett, but not before a gain of 11.
I made my mark in this league there, Dan. Hey, there's some people who appreciate,
There's no question
appreciate
about
the way I played. Hey, this guy is my hero.
Brian Walker in his 8th year out of Washington State, a former Dolphin, signed with the Lions as a free agent.
How about his reasoning for coming to the Lions?
He wanted to get out of the shadow of some of the players.
Yeah, he wanted to go and make his own mark, and he said, well, you're going to a 2-14, what better place to make your mark, right?
3rd down and short. Jay Fiedler keeps it. Across the 35 to the 36. It's going to be a 1st down for Miami. So they'll move the chains. Perhaps more important at this point, the clock continues to roll. Inside of 40 seconds here to go in the 3rd quarter. The Dolphins, who had a bit of a shaky preseason, have to be very happy with the way things have gone so far today.
Well, you would have thought they lost a playoff game in the preseason. Where these fans were down on Jay Fiedler, who just came off a hip surgery and really hadn't gone through any training camp for about a few days, and they're still learning the system. So it took some time. You can see now they've got into
Fiedler here again. The give is to Minor. Not much there. Stretches out to the 39. Jeff Gooch makes the stop for Detroit. We are moving down towards the end of the 3rd quarter with the score: Miami 42 and Detroit 14. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Go in the 4th quarter. Dolphins leading the Lions by a score of 42-14. 15 minutes to play in this one. 2002 NFL season, of course, got underway on Thursday night. San Francisco's win over the New York Giants.
That's a good game. That was a very good game. Start the season off.
And it looks very much like the Miami Dolphins will start with a victory here. Leading by 28, they have the football. From their own 39, Fiedler throws it out to Conrad. Conrad turns, rolls upfield across the 45 to the 46. Todd Light drives him out of bounds. Gain on the play of 7. There's a look at Sam Madison. We told you he suffered a right ankle injury. Will not return today.
He's got some crutches
And obviously, he's already been to the showers.
That would be a big, big blow. I mean, granted, they've got some players on this team, but he's part of the corner. I mean, he's one of their captains, too. Not forget he's a great player. He's one of their leaders, and if he's not there, he will be missed.
This defense has been together a long time, and they're counting on that being one of the main ingredients in what they hope to be a Super Bowl season. On second down, the give is to Minor. Check that first down. Minor going around the left side, stiff-arming Eric Davis, being driven out of bounds. Travis Minor turning the corner, giving Eric Davis something to remember him by. Gain of 18 on the play.
Forget that. Watch Jamie Nails coming around that corner. How'd you like to be that guy, Dan? I mean, we don't see it here, but you know, the Eric Davis, stiff. Someone needs to tell Eric Combs here, but you know, they've got Ricky Williams out, and now Travis Minor in, and he's doing the same thing. He's gaining yards.
Minor takes a breather. Robert Edwards checks back in. First down and 10 now from the Lions 36. Edwards gets the call. Nothing there. Taken down right at the line of scrimmage. Sean Rogers making the tackle for Detroit. Second down and 10 now. After Edwards is stopped on first down.
Someone needs to step on defense. I think here, defense coordinator Coach Kurt Schottenheimer needs to start blitzing now, Dan, to try to make the ball back. I mean,
that's Edwards in motion, setting up the screen to Conrad. Conrad dragged down from behind. Not much there on second down. That'll bring up third down, but before we get to that, let's get out to L.A. and James Brown. JB.
Hey, Dan, after trailing by 11, Green Bay has come out smoking in the second half. Brett Favre on fire, hooking up with the rookie Javon Walker on the post pattern for the score. Favre, 20 of 27, 233 yards, 2 touches, and no picks, and a 3-point lead in the fourth. Back to Dan Miller and Mark Carrier.
Well, Mark Carrier, you played for Chicago, you played for Detroit. You saw a lot of Brett Favre in your career. When somebody said Brett Favre is red hot, it's not good news for the opposition.
It is not. You don't think he knew that Michael Vick was 10 of 10 in that first half? You think he wanted to get showed up by a young buck in his home stadium? He is as competitive as they come.
Direct snap there on the play goes to Edwards. Edwards inside the 30, close to a first down. They needed to get to the 26, and it looks well like they may have done that.
Look at the Lions players, Dan. I mean, do they look like they're just physically beat right, physically as well as mentally beat right now? Look how they keep looking to the sideline, wondering what the heck's going on.
We saw there the direct snap right to Edwards. Fiedler sold it well, too, like he was going back to pass, and Edwards did pick up the first down.
I think offensive coordinator Norv Turner is sitting in his box with his head, with his eyes covered, just picking out plays right now because everything is working for him.
Well, when you're up 42-14, sometimes it does indeed happen like that. 2 tight ends in the game for the Dolphins here. Fiedler back to pass and look and got a man wide open. McMichael at the 5. McMichael taken down at the 1. And the rookie from Georgia comes up limping, and he immediately is calling over to the sidelines for some help.
Cramping. We were wondering we were going to see our first Fred Sanford imitation, and looked like Mr. McMichael has that with that stiff leg and that cramp. You can tell it's cramping sitting in. That's that lock knee, that old Fred Sanford, you know, Red Fox, that, Elizabeth, I'm getting a heart attack.
That's the big one?
That's the big one. That big one got him right in his leg. Watch him.
Comes up right there, cramping up. Well, we certainly hope that's all that is. We'll get a report for you as soon as we can.
Report 76.
Marcus Spriggs reports as eligible. Jay Fiedler, with the play clock winding down, has to take a timeout. The Dolphins are in great shape. First and goal from the 1. That's where they'll have it when we come back. Back in Miami, Dolphins already leading by 28. Knocking on the door right here. First and goal at the 1.
shut down
Robert
a few
Edwards,
times.
yes I have, is
Shut
the
down a
deep
few
back
times.
behind Jay Weaver. That's Jet Weaver in motion. Edwards gets the call. Edwards into the end zone. Touchdown, Dolphins. And he's hanging on to that football, and why not? He's earned it. Take another look.
He starts right, boom, cuts back left, over pursued by the defensive line. Again, easy touchdown.
Lindo Mare back in for the extra point. This is 7th one of the day, and he is 7 for 7 so far in 2002. Dolphins stretch their lead. It is now 49-14 here in Miami. We're back in Miami. Dolphins leading Detroit by a score of 49-14. Lindo Mare set to kick it off again. Larry Foster back deep for the Lions. Foster takes it at the 1. Back to the 10, the 15, cuts it outside at the 20 and take it down right there, and that's where the Lions will take over. At about the 23-yard line, and the Lions will come out with a new quarterback. Joey Harrington will come into the game. First-round pick this past season out of Oregon. 3rd overall, and the expectations are extremely high for Joey Harrington in Detroit, and he's going to get a chance to get some work in right here.
He's going to get a lot of work. There's still 10 minutes left in this 4th quarter. We questioned what they do. They bring him in, and that was, you know, about 21 points ago. Now it's 49-14. Hey, at this point, let him get some work. They can do nothing but help him.
All right, Harrington with 3 receivers in the game. Hands off to Corey Schlesinger. Schlesinger running on that infield dirt. Gets out near the 30-yard line, down to the 29. That'll bring up 2nd down at about 4 for the Lions.
At this point, you know what, I'd like to, bring Joey Harrington in now, Dan. Let him get his work. Let him move. I don't think it's nothing to Mike McMahon. I think he played as well as he could play under the situation he was under. Let let Joey get some work. Let him see how he acts in a real game experience. Because now these guys are going to try to, you know, knock his head off when they get a chance to.
Lions with 7 on 1st down, make it 2nd down and 3. Harrington, play action fake, pumps, throws, looking for Schlesinger. He was under pressure, and it's incomplete. Right now, let's swing it out to Los Angeles. James Brown with an update on what else is happening around the league. JB.
Hey, Dan, the Sterling preseason play of Atlanta continuing here. The pitch to Warren Dunn. He takes it 2 yards for the score. That's his 2nd touchdown of the game. And it is now Atlanta back on top. 31-27. Back to Dan and Mark.
How about that? You got a young gun in Michael Vick and an old gun, Brett Favre.
What are you more
head-to-head in Green Bay?
What is more surprising, Atlanta scoring 31 points or Green Bay giving up in Green Bay 31 points?
On opening day, no doubt about it. That's a good football game going on. Right here, we have a blowout. Flags down on the field. His pass is out to Oz Hakeem. Hakeem across the 35 to the 36. Ray Green making the tackle. The flags were coming in from the secondary.
Somebody pushed off. Miami Dolphins.
And it will indeed go against the Dolphins. The Lions say they have a plan for Joey Harrington. They don't want to put him in there right now. They believe Mike McMahon is their starter, but I think after seeing Harrington sign a $36 million contract, most everybody believes that ultimately he will be the guy in Detroit.
Dan, don't be fooled. I promise you. I'll tell you in a second. But don't be fooled. You don't invest money in a player at that high of a pick.
Eagle, you need a hand. Hand to the face. 46 defense. That foul occurred while the ball was in the air against the player who was not the receiver. Therefore, the penalty will be declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Jeff Triplett with the explanation right there.
As I was saying, I think Mike McMahon played as well as he could. I mean, it was a tough situation. They were down early. They know James Stewart, so no running game to take the pressure off. He's still a young quarterback. I like his mobility. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulder, but you don't invest that type of draft pick and put that type of money in to have a guy sit on the bench unless you got Montana in front of him.
Well, the question a lot of people have in Detroit is how soon will Joey Harrington be the man? He's got a chance to make some plays right now and does right there. Gets it to Oz Hakeem. Oz Hakeem across the 50 down to the 46-yard line, and the Lions are in Dolphin territory. Take another look right there.
Well, the only guy who's showed it to play in the second half has been Hakeem. I mean, he's gotten open anytime he can underneath that slot. Again, they brought him in for big plays, but you can see where he can move the sticks and get first down just on his own ability if you get him the ball in the open field. He's a good open field player. He makes people miss.
First down 10 now from Miami 46. Harrington on the delay, gives it to Schlesinger. Schlesinger fighting for room, not finding much, gets across the 45, maybe to the 44. It'll bring up second down and long. Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas teaming up for Miami to make the stop.
The guy who's got to retire right now has got to be Corey Schlesinger. He's not used to running the ball this many times. He's like, wait a minute, I'm a blocker. I just go find another colored jersey and try to hit it. They keep pumping me the ball, but he's the only one that, has had a form of a running game has been Corey Schlesinger with his good running.
Corey Schlesinger so far 6 carries, 25 yards for the Lions.
That's a year for Corey Schlesinger, Dan, most of the time. That's a year, even especially at Nebraska.
Corey's the up back right here. Second down, McMahon's going to throw, looking for Akeem down the right sideline, incomplete, overthrew it. Ray Green doing a good job step for step with Akeem in coverage. That'll bring up third down and 9 now from the Dolphins 45.
Is it 4 down territory? Well, I think it was 4 down territory, 2 touchdowns to go.
Take a look at what was happening on the other side of the field there, Mark.
Well, you know what? I can see why Bill Schrader is not happy. He's not getting passes. He was wide open there, but hey, Bill Schrader dropped the pass where he should have caught in the middle of the field. And quarterbacks, even those Harrington, they lose confidence in the receiver. You don't feel like you can make a play.
Blitz coming. Harrington picks it up, gets it out to Akeem. They get the first down across the 35. Gain of 13 on the play. Ray Green making the stop. But a nice play by Harrington and good blocking in front because they were coming.
That's a good job. I mean, that's one thing they like about Harrington is that he's a pocket-type quarterback. He knows how to slide and shift in the pocket and still keep his head down the field while he's moving and get the ball out. And that's what you saw there. And Hakeem, I mean, the Dolphins are content to say, hey, we're going to drop back deep. We're not letting you catch anything behind us. We'll let you do all the underneath stuff, and we'll stop you.
Akeem checks out. Still 3 receivers in the game for the Lions. Again, Harrington to throw. Got it across. Larry Foster makes the catch inside the 30. Taken down right where he picked it up. Patrick Surtain with a big hit for Miami. Gain of a couple. It'll be second down.
I just like it when a cornerback gets up and makes a big hit on a little receiver thinking, yeah, I just nailed him. Mama saved. I'm telling Surtain, hey, when 30 comes sneaking through the line, go get him. Then I'll be impressed.
Patrick Surtain, 5'11", 192. Larry Foster, 5'10", 188. They would be in the same weight class.
Yeah.
Second down and 6 now. Schlesinger again gets the ball. It's down to the 26. Tim Bowens, 9th year out of Mississippi, making the stop for Miami. Miami defensive line has done a pretty good job, and they figure to improve next week as well when David Bowens is back. He's out recovering from a broken hand.
Yeah, they have. I mean, initially they came in here and they tried to spread. The Lions tried to spread the Dolphins out. They didn't have James Stewart, but they were all saying that, hey, we've got to run the ball. We've got to run the ball. Let me take the pressure off our young quarterback. And the Dolphins, who are not the biggest but very athletic defensive line, have done a good job of hanging in there. They've got a few runs here and there, but they've kept them in 3rd and long, and that's how you win games. That's how you get off the field.
3rd down and 4 right here. Play clock was down to 3. Joey Harrington's going to have to call a timeout and talk about things. Lions trailing 49-14. We'll be right back with more. 7 to play here in Miami. Dolphins leading the Lions 49-14. Detroit with it, facing a 3rd down and 4 from the Miami 26. Joey Harrington has come on at quarterback for Mike McMahon. Lamont Warren and Corey Schlesinger behind Harrington. That was Hakeem in motion. Harrington looking deep. Schrader's out there. Flag down. Lots of contact.
Wow.
Jamar Fletcher, who's the nickelback for Miami, the one who it looks like is going to be called for the penalty.
I thought he got his head around and was just running because the defensive back is entitled, if he has position on the receiver, if he's turning back looking for the ball, if they run into each other, that he has that right away.
Take another look. That's Schrader at the top of the screen.
Defense, number 21. Automatic first down.
He did. I'm a defensive back, and you know I'm going to be biased, but but there's a rule where you cannot cut the receiver off. And there, if he would have stayed and just kept running in his line of path, it would have been okay. But he did. You cannot cut. You can't get in front of the receiver and cut him off from where his position was. He was inside of him fine. He would turn and ran that way, would have been fine. But he tried to stop his momentum by cutting him off.
Jamar Fletcher, in his second year out of Wisconsin, first-round pick back in 2001. He'll check out right now. The Dolphins are going to call timeout. I think they had some personnel problems on defense. They were running players on and off the field. So they'll talk about it, and we'll be right back. Detroit has it. Harrington fakes the give, looking to throw, throws it out of the end zone. It'll be second down. Pressure was coming. Zach Thomas right up the middle.
That was an emphatic thrown out the end zone. You know, most quarterbacks at that point, when they're trying to throw it away, they just toss it up in the stands for a souvenir. He was trying to take that Dolphin out sign on the back of the stands right there.
Second and goal for the Lions now. 5:54 to go here in South Florida. Dolphins leading and leading big, 49-14. Lamont Warren, the deep back behind Harrington. That's Ricks in motion. They give it to the up back. That's Schlesinger. Falls forward. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Corey Schlesinger, touchdown, Detroit. So all of that work that you talked about earlier pays off for Corey Schlesinger as he gets into the end zone, and he's going to keep that football.
He definitely earned it, Dan. He's been doing a yeoman's work for. I mean, anybody tell you when you run ISOs, we're leading with the fullback, you got to go head up with these linebackers on every other play. It takes a tough individual, and Corey, there's none tougher in the league than Corey Schlesinger, and the players around the league know that.
A lot of people thought that he had a Pro Bowl year last year, did not get to make the trip to Hawaii. Certainly if he puts up the same kind of numbers this year, he may well get that trip. Extra point by Jason Hanson is up, and it is good. And it's now Miami leading by a score of 49-21 with 5:48 to go here. Corey Schlesinger, by the way, so far today, 8 carries, 28 yards. And that touchdown we saw a moment ago, we'll take another look at right here.
This is Corey's game, right up the middle, power game. He's one of the strongest guys on the team. Look at him fighting, getting in. There's no quitting in Corey Schlesinger. I played 3 years with him, and he was always one of the toughest guys, always one of the hardest workers on the team.
Take a look at some of the individual numbers from today's game. Jay Fiedler, 18 out of 25, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, tying a career high. Ricky Williams, first game with Miami. So far, so good. 20 carries for 111 yards and a pair of scores. Randy McMichael, rookie tight end out of Georgia, 4 catches, 73 yards and a touchdown. And Robert Edwards in his first game after missing 3 years because of a severe knee injury with a touchdown as well.
Yeah, the fans around Miami were very concerned going into the preseason because Ricky, as well as Jay Fiedler, didn't play well. Now you can see where he comes to the game, just a power running back. He goes inside. He has the ability to cut up and run and make people miss. Well, right down the hill, and he has the speed to get to the corner to beat people. He brings the whole package to the game, Dan.
Well, Ricky Williams down on the sideline, and again, this Miami Dolphin team knows that they've been to the playoffs the last 5 years. They're going for their 6th consecutive postseason appearance, but in all that time, they have not got to the Super Bowl, and they think he might be the guy that helps them get over the top. Some total yards there a minute ago. Jason Hanson sends it on its way. Albert Johnson takes it 3 yards deep in the end zone, back to the 10 to the 15. Johnson outside, spun around and taken down right at the 20 by Chris Cash. Now, don't forget, coming up next in the second part of our doubleheader, Marshall Faulk leads the potent Rams offense against Brian Greasy and the Broncos, or other regional action as well. A full day of NFL action continues next on Fox.
Blocking the back, 56. 13. Half the distance. First down.
Well, the Dolphins were called for a block in the back on the run back, so the officials will mark that off. And we have a new quarterback for Miami as well. Ray Lucas comes on.
Now, Ray Lucas had a phenomenal. We talked about players who had a bad preseason. Ray Lucas had a great preseason. He came over here. He was more like a third down option type quarterback. He ran North Turner's offense to a T. He had a really good preseason.
First and 10 from the 11. Travis Minor gets the handoff. Minor across the 10, out to the 12. And I don't have anything to back this up, but I guarantee you this. There have not been many times in the history of the National Football League where 2 quarterbacks out of Rutgers both played in the game and took a snap.
Boy, They have quarterback at Rutgers.
Well, apparently they do.
They have quarterback at Rutgers.
At least they had Ray Lucas and Mike McMahon.
Wow, you think they're up like in the Hall of Fame, right? Rutgers Hall of Fame right now?
They might be. They might have their own wing. If not, they will soon. 49-21. That's our score here in Miami. Again to give to Miami. Trying the right side, met right there and driven back. It's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Miami's just going to be content just to run this clock, and I'm sure the Lions feel the same way, Dan.
Well, the Miami Dolphins, coming into this one, had won 10 straight opening day games. It's the longest streak in the NFL. They're headed for number 11. And as you see there, Miami leads the all-time series with Detroit 5-2. It's about to become 6-2. Detroit has never won in Miami. They lost their first 3 times, and they're about to lose their 4th. Lucas again. Miner getting a lot of work. This time tries the left side on 3rd and 8. Not going to get it. It's going to be 4th down, and the Dolphins will have to give it back to Detroit. Brian Williams in his 8th year out of Southern Cal coming up to make the tackle for Detroit.
Well, the SC kid comes up. I mean, the Lions players, to their credit, they're still fighting hard. They're still trying to play. They're still trying to win. And that's a credit to the coaching staff, because you know, Dan, you've been around Detroit a long time. I've played with players, with good coaches, and when times are tough, that's when you know the true essence of how you coach your players feel about your coaching staff. If they believe and trust in what they're doing, no matter the situation, they'll play hard for them.
I would say that's true, and I think we've seen that so far in the Lions. You also have to get some good times mixed in there soon. And it's been tough going so far in the 2 years for Marty Mornhinweg. Larry Foster spun around right at the 42-yard line, taken down at the 43. Tommy Hendricks making the special teams tackle. 47-yard punt, 4-yard return. The Lions will take over right there. Marty Mornhinweg very confident about his football team. I don't think in any of the scenarios he played out in his mind did he see them coming in here and getting blown out this afternoon.
No, not at all. We met with all the players, and to a man, offense, defense, and the coaching staff, they felt very good about their situation. Granted, they probably thought James Stewart was going to play because they felt they had a chance, an edge there with their power running game, but no way in the world did they foresee this coming. Not this way.
1st down and 10. Joey Harrington and the Lions. Harrington's got to step up in the pocket, tries to get rid of it. Looking out there for Lamont Warren. Down he goes. And that will go down as an incomplete pass. Jason Taylor had a hold of his jersey right there. Some of the scores around the NFL. Philadelphia might come up with a nice win on the road, leading by 5 with 6:32 to play there. Washington, Steve Spurrier up 31-23 on Arizona. Atlanta and Green Bay, they've been going back and forth all game long.
How about Atlanta?
Buffalo leading the Jets 24-23. A lot of people expecting a big bounce back year from Buffalo. Cleveland and Kansas City, not exactly a defensive shootout today. Harrington on 2nd down. This time the pocket holds up. Pump fake, throws it out. Nothing down the field, so he tried to dump it to Lamont Warren. Incomplete.
The struggles of Baltimore are already starting, Dan.
Well, how about Rodney Peete getting a win? Starting quarterback. Another former Southern Cal guy.
Hey, you know what? You give the good with the bad and the bad with the good. And Rodney, you know what? I'm sure about a week ago when Rodney Peete found out he was going to be the starting quarterback, he probably realized, hey, I better get in shape. I wasn't expecting this. I'm sure he was just hoping just to hold a clipboard and just ride out in the sunset. And then they told him, Coach Fox told me, hey, you're starting this week. I'm sure if I would have called him, he would have been working. He would have been on the treadmill trying to get in shape.
Well, assuming all went well for Rodney Peete, he will face his former team, the Detroit Lions, next week. Joey Harrington throws one incomplete on 3rd down to Lamont Warren. Now the question becomes, the Lions just keep it and go for it? You would think that they would at this point, trailing by 28 with 3:15 to go.
I don't think it's even a question. As many times you can get the ball and move it, try to make something happen, you just keep going. It's just now you're getting recognition. Now it's almost like an evaluation period now for the Detroit Lions here, Dan. Now coaches, they've probably got different players in who probably wouldn't normally play at this point in the game as much, and now you're trying to see, okay, this is where you trust the true character of your players to see if they'll compete under this adversity.
Jason Taylor limping off there on the sidelines, you saw. 4th and 10, Harrington throwing, looking out there for Oz Hakeem. And it's incomplete, almost picked off by Jamar Fletcher. So that will turn the ball over to Miami, and with 3:08 to go, they should go a long way towards running the clock out at this point. Today's game is being produced by Larry Lancaster and directed by Barry Landis. Our associate director is Bob Grossman. Broadcast associate is Corey Stone, and the technical producer is Joe Stevens. The studio show is produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Jennifer Love. The senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. The quarterback for the Dolphins is again Ray Lucas. 49-21, 1st and 10. Have to figure Miami will be content to stay in bounds and try to keep things moving here. Minor slipping outside, going out of bounds at that point. That's 59 to play.
That's just a case of fatigue right now, Dan. That Detroit Lions defense has been on the field for a long time. They've got a lot of stuff thrown at them with the run as well as with the pass. They made a lot of tackles. When you're losing 49-21, it's hotter than it normally is, Dan. It's a lot hotter in your head than it is outside.
And just kind of expound upon that point for a moment. Certainly it is not imperative that they stay in bounds. This game is well in hand. It's not like you try to protect the lead in a 4-point game.
I'm sure somebody will mention that to him when it comes to the sideline.
However, I'm sure some of those big offensive linemen would like to get off the field as soon as possible. Minor needs to get down to about the 34 for the first down. I don't think he got there. Should be 3rd and short. Tackled by Barrett Green. Chris Claiborne in there as well. Well, we mentioned ago the current winning streak for Miami opening day. They open well. They have won 10 consecutive games on opening day. This will be their 11th straight win. Far and away, that's the best streak in the National Football League so far.
The problem with Miami, Dave, obviously having a good running game, it's not been how they started. They start as well as anybody in the league. The problem with Miami has been over the last 5 years is that their last 4 games of the season, they have a losing record since 1996. They can't get over. They're trying to find a way to get over the hump, and they think with these new additions that they will get to that next level.
Well, on 3rd and 1, they give it to Minor. He didn't get it. It's going to be 4th and 1 coming up. Miami will have some time to think about this one because we have reached the 2-minute warning here in South Florida. Dolphins leading the Lions 49-21. Detroit 49-21. Coming up next, the second part of our doubleheader. Marshall Faulk leads the potent Rams offense against Brian Griese and the Broncos. Other regional action as well. A full day of NFL action continues on Fox. Those of you watching in Miami will see game 2 of the doubleheader as well. Travis Minor getting the first down right there, so they'll move the chains. The clock will continue to tick. Next 4 games coming up for these Miami Dolphins. They will be at Indianapolis. They will take on the Jets. They'll be at Kansas City, and they'll also take on New England. That is not an easy schedule.
No, the AFC is just overall completely loaded this year. There are a lot of improvements on a lot of teams. The Indianapolis Colts are improved. Jets, a lot of teams are picking the Super Bowl. Kansas City, the Vermeil factors there, and how about the Rodney Dangerfields of Super Bowl teams, the New England Patriots, where they're not even favored to win. That is a tough schedule.
That's exactly right. Miami Dolphins, whoever comes out of the AFC this year is certainly going to earn it because it's going to be tough. As Ray Lucas takes a knee there with 1:10 remaining, the clock continues to move. Miami leading 49-21. As for the Lions, they'll match up next week with Carolina. Now, you saw Carolina started with a victory today. Carolina will go into that one 1-0. The Lions 0-1. But this is a matchup of a Carolina team that went 1-15 last year and a Lions team that went 2-14 last year.
Well, Carolina started like they did last year. They went in Minnesota with Chris Winkie and won, and then they went on to lose their next 15 games. So they're kind of in their stage 1, but I think they're a better team than they were last year.
The Lions' 3rd game will be their home opener, regular season home opener at Ford Field, their brand new stadium, downtown Detroit. And it is a beautiful, beautiful structure that you'll get a look at come week 3 of the NFL season. But week 1 goes to the Miami Dolphins in the battle between these two teams. Miami over Detroit by a score of 49-21. The Dolphins have to feel very good about things. As we said, they did not have a strong preseason, but in terms of today's game, they got the job done convincingly.
Very convincingly. I'm very impressed. I mean, they came in with high hopes of having new offense, new running game, and Ricky Williams. I don't think even the Dolphins imagined they were